I have a wonderful electronic invention I want you to see.
We got to the point where we could control the laws of nature as electronics.
just trying to close in on the flankers first.
This FlyQuest doing their best to just hide in hell off of what they had, and
Trying to hop on. He's too good for the first one. Alexis popping off, and Alexis! FlyQuest are doing the damn thing.
Now you have a stun you have to deal with two. Managing to dodge that has to take a fight. Snaps. Oh, it's Aria with it. Own it again. Lace has to do it on their own, and Lace saves the day for FlyQuest. Welcome to Verizon Valorant Game Changers North America. We've got a freaking good day for you here. It's day 7. It's Swiss round 7. You've got 2 matches, and they're all for qualifiers. I'm Doug. With me on the call is Dre. Dre, there's a lot to be excited about today, man.
Yeah, elimination games are always fun. I mean, this is where you make it or break it, right? I mean, you want to make that main event. There's going to be tons of crazy plays, I'm sure. I mean, the last time we even casted these games, there was some phenomenal individual talent being displayed, and you got to imagine everyone's going to put their heart on their sleeve out today.
I think the best part about matches like today is that it's not 0-3 teams against 0-3 teams or something like that. These are middle-of-the-road teams who have looked really good in certain instances, and then they've looked pretty rough in others. Both teams, or all 4 teams, actually. All 4 teams, 3-3, fighting for the final spots in the main stage. Let's take a look at what happened last Monday, because there's a whole lot that went down as well. I believe we even have a little video you get you guys refreshed in case you haven't, in case you missed it, or in case you didn't remember. So go ahead, take a watch, get refreshed, and then we'll talk on the other side of this.
Welcome back to Verizon Valorant Game Changers North America. I'm Rivington here with Zobi to bring you all the action today. And it's going to be spicy because some teams, Zobi, are going to be reaching 4 wins.
yeah, I mean, silver lining, you say, yep, Annie knew. 15 seconds left, they're going to come down the wire, and there's just so much utility, there's going to be so much tradability here between the numbers.
Oh my god!
And an aftershock to follow it up, here it comes, right?
Oh my god.
It doesn't matter,
It's so good. It's so good.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Looking for me.
Last player standing. Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
A side here from Ghost and Vanitas says not an outlaw, but a marshal. Oh my gosh. The Viper's bite kill. Oh, on the ace with the abilities. 1, 2, 3. Bunny B pulls out all the stuff.
Flash in hand, the swing is good, the ace is denied.
First shot. Giving up, second one through the wall. Corrupt goes ahead against the 4K on this round.
So yeah, you missed a lot. The good thing is there's plenty more ahead of us. 2 final matches, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, to decide which 2 teams are advancing and taking the final spot in the main stage. Up first, we're going to have Ghost Game against Prosperity, as you see on this nice little graphic on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, we're going to have Catface, or however else you would pronounce that. I'm going to go with Catface, against Fisher Fumblers. Dre, any passes or thoughts on how to say other than Catface? I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but surely you're creative.
I mean, I saw MEOW up there, you know, when the highlights were playing, so we could just go with MEOW.
Yeah,
you know, Team MEOW.
Honestly, MEOW is also pretty good. Again, for both of these, all 4 of these teams, both of these matches, I'm gonna get that right eventually. Both teams 3-3. Both teams fighting for that final spot. Both teams that, as I was mentioning earlier, Dre, have looked really good in certain instances, and then they have struggled in others. But they find themselves on the bubble here.
Yeah, this is truly where preparation meets pressure, and we're definitely going to see who cracks first in these matches, and I think that's going to really be impactful for both these series. You know, how strong do you start, and can you adapt quickly enough to overcome a rough start if you are on the opposite end of that? So yeah, it's going to be insane today, genuinely.
We'll take a look at rosters here in just a moment in case you guys are familiar or unfamiliar, excuse me, with the people that are going to be playing or the teams that are going to be on. Against Ghost Gaming against Prosperity will be the first match. It is going to be a best of 3. It is to decide who advances over to the main stage. Now, Dre, when you've got a team that has been middle of the road, as all 4 of these teams have been, as we mentioned, what feels like the difference maker as we take a look at the Ghost Gaming roster?
I honestly feel like it's going to come down to the duelist and how they want to go for the entries. You know that I'm a huge duelist guy. That's what I made my entire career about. But genuinely, like in these moments when the pressure is on, can the duelist step up and be that mechanical player to start things off for their team? And that's why I'm talking about pistol rounds. That's why I'm talking about even just bonus rounds, right? This is where the duelist players usually tend to shine. And I think, Vanitas for this Ghost Gaming roster has been lights out. Yeah,
I am also being informed that Biffy is subbing in case you were looking at the roster and going, wait a second, that doesn't look right. Biffy is subbing in. Biffy is playing today. Dre, a late ad in a position like this too. I mean, that's much easier said than done when it comes to execution, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, 100%, but like sometimes you hit that honeymoon phase where like you just need it for the right moment. So I'm not too, I'm not looking too down in the dumps for a recent sub in. I feel like sometimes it could just be a good breath of fresh air, And I feel like in GC as well, in this Swift stage, we've seen so many teams like make roster changes. I mean, match to match. And I think it's going to be okay.
Again, Biffy is subbing in for Kataris. We'll take a look at the opposing roster here in just a few moments. But I think for Ghost Gaming, Dre, a team that hasn't worked backing it, a team that's looking to make it to the main stage, I feel like the pressure's pretty high here.
Yeah, the pressure is definitely riding against you here. I mean, you are expected, to come out on top because, like you said, you are a team that, it is paid. And you're going up against Prosperity X. Also, we got to talk about the battle of the logos, Doug. I mean, look at both of these teams' logos. It's the same thing, but just flipped, no?
Yeah, it does look very similar. It is giving copy my homework, but change it a little bit so nobody will notice. Either way, for Prosperity X, the same chance that Ghost Gaming have, an opportunity to look to put the entire Swiss stage in the rearview mirror, look past the three losses that you were dealt, and then qualify to the main stage, Trey.
Yeah, Prosperity X has had some very close games, honestly, against TV specifically. I mean, they look pretty solid overall. I still think you probably favor Ghost in this scenario, but Prosperity X, I mean, specifically like Ado has been looking very good on that initiator. And Gracious as well on that duelist. I really think that these are 2 players that are going to need to shine today for this Prosperity X team if they want to take a win over Ghost Gaming.
The good people behind the scenes are telling me that the maps are ready, so we'll take a look at those here in just a moment. Set the stage for what this best of 3 will hold. Again, win, you advance, you lose, you're done. No main stage for you. Haven up first, Sunset as the second course, and then if needed, Lotus will be the decider. Excuse me. Dre, any thoughts or any reactions on the maps here?
So Haven is actually a map that Ghost Gaming hasn't really played much. I mean, the last time they played it was March 24th, right? And that wasn't even in Game Changers. So I think that Ghost Gaming could use that to their advantage because on the opposite end, it's a map that Prosperity X has played quite a bit. Playing it 9 times. They're 3 and 6 on the map. Tons of footage. But, I mean, they are coming off of a recent win. The thing is will the surprise of Ghost Gaming be enough to, throw Prosperity X off guard? Or is Prosperity X going to change things up with their compositions? I don't think so. They tend to lean on that Yoru as the main duelist with the Breach and Sova. So, I mean, we will see, though, once we get into Champ Select. I think that it's a good opportunity for Ghost to display something that they haven't really shown before. Like I said, only playing the map once this year.
Yeah, you mentioned that their last rep wasn't a great one. It was in a Funhaver tournament. Shout out Funhaver and all the tournaments that are put on. And it was an OT battle. It was a very close one, but ultimately one that got away from them. We'll see if the compositions look any different. And as you were mentioning on the other side for Prosperity, it makes a lot of sense that this is their map pick and this is comfort for them. And we talk a lot about what feels like has to be the decider, the difference maker in situations such as these. And I know I tend to index pretty heavy on the side of the IGLs. But I do think, Drake, given that it's a 3-site map, there's a little bit more there on your shoulders when you have that much you can play around.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, this is why we can tie in the duelists into this as well, and the initiator players from both ends, because I mean, if you're just getting bullied, like with the mechanical skill that we've been seeing in GC from all these teams, and like that just makes your job as an IGL that much harder on a 3-site bomb spike map, right? So 100%, I think a lot of these first engagements are going to be extremely important for those IGLs on either end. And I think, you know, the attacking side, it's going to be important. Are you going to take a lobby control? Are you going to try to go for garage control? I think game planning is extremely important here, because when you are starting on that attack, if you're not warmed and you're not ready, you need to have something else to fall back on that's not aim dueling, which this map of Haven, I feel like, relies on so heavily.
Yeah, you imagine A main is going to be a lot of the conversation, being able to control that and then play the map around that for the attacking side. And take a look at the quick compositions. Lots of changes here, Dre. Running double duelist for Ghost with Yoru and ISO, and then essentially a half another duelist in Clove as well for Biffy.
Oh, yeah, that's so interesting. I haven't really seen much of the solo smoke Clove on Haven at all. And I wonder if for Prosperity X, a focal point of their attack side is going to be, you know, to try to bait out some of those smokes. Because remember, the Clove can't do cross-map smokes.
Yep.
So you have to kind of play like around B on the defensive side most of the time, or just like completely concede one of the sites. I mean, that is the true nature of how Haven defense is played usually. But yeah, I'm very interested to see how Ghost Gaming is going to approach this defensive side. For Prosperity X, I mean, their composition is so versatile. They can really do a bunch of different things. I think that they need to be worried about falling into the dueling trap that Ghost Gaming's composition tends to favor, right? You look at Ghost Gaming, you have the ISO, you have the Yoru, the Clove. They're going to want to duel it out. You basically have 3 duelists on this side.
Yep. Yeah, 3, 2.5. Yeah, but I completely agree with you. They're going to want to scrap. They're going to want to fight it out. And you're absolutely right. It's tempting. It's tantalizing to want to throw bows in a position like that. And, you know, nah, I'd win type beat. But it's a pitfall you have to avoid.
Exactly. Yeah. You definitely have to avoid that if you are PRX. PRX. I'm sorry, Prosperity X, PRS.
I mean, you're pretty close.
Yeah.
You're not far off.
I'll tell you what, if you're Prosperity X, you do not want to approach your attack side with the game plan of what PRX would normally do. You want to try to play a little bit more reactive, use that breach utility to kind of weather the storm of some of those duels that are going to be taking place from Ghost Gaming, because I don't think you can play a very stagnant defensive side with this composition. You kind of have to put PRS on the defensive, even though they're on the attack, right? You want to take the fight to them. And you look at this mini map right here already. It's just going to be a full A main fight for the side of Ghost. But everybody on PRS is gearing up towards going reactive to be.
Oh, there's smoke across the middle of the map. We talked about that A main fight for a lot of the pre-show, and guess what? It never happened. Nobody went there at the beginning of the round to fight it.
Yeah, and because of that, there's 4 members towards this B/C side of the map with all C space taken. Aerial, so aggressive down C long.
Oh, that space taken away. A deep smoke, excuse me. Is Bunny B posted up? Position played well. Crispy out from 2. The 3rd for Bunny B. Addo's going to try to respond in kind, but there's no shot. A banger of a start for Ghost.
That was so smart from Ghost, too, because they were silent at A, and they were actually playing a reactive fight towards that A side of the map. Instead of actually forcing the issue, they put doubt into the minds of PRS. And that mid smoke from Clove made it seem like there was going to be a walk down mid,
right,
so PRS was a little bit hesitant to go down as well. And then by that time, I mean, everyone's just able to sneak into all these spots on C. And it's just impossible with the crossfires because of Aerial taking all that space as well.
Here's
it's
a
like now we'll finally see a fight.
Yeah, here's a highlight. Nope. Oh no. They tried to tug behind the dart and it didn't work.
Yeah, this is.
Oh no.
Definitely not the start you want. Yeah, that's rough. I mean, that is a gap that is abusable. You see a lot of players do that in ranked, where you can kind of hide under that close right A main if you're on the attacker side and hide from the dart. But I mean, there's too many bodies there. Not everybody can fit in that little blind spot. So they are able to just get spammed through the cages, and not a good start again, like I said, for PRS. But we're finally on the first gun round. The problem I'm seeing here is this Outlaw is going to do a lot of damage. That Guardian from Aerial will also do a lot of damage on the retake. Yeah, it's a bunch of light armors on the side of PRS.
Yeah, this is a pretty tough bonus. A lot of fight behind the bar. But Bunnybee feeling a lot of the pressure. Miara doubling down, opting to take the fight. Ill-advised. Sova now down, and all attention towards A.
And now PRS a chance to layer utility on the actual site hit as well, with that Yoru TP coming in.
Bunnybee TPing out. Oh my goodness, the shield is so good. Ultimately falling. Now Bunnybee with the flash on the other side. Very well done from the Yoru. So much more to be done. Oh my goodness. Aerial clothesline him, getting it down to a 1v1, and Luna saves the day. Oh, that could have gone so bad.
It was so scrappy, Doug. Ghost almost made that work. I thought PRS did a great job of layering utility, taking A long. We saw Luna 1 have some great utility to basically force out Bunnybee's initial TP, and then also causing Miara to be isolated. But when it came down to the actual site spacing, just at the very end, PRS kind of lost the plot a little bit, and it was so scrappy. Now your economy is kind of, you know, taking a big hit. You lose this round, it's in shambles. Also, Bunnybee has an operator online.
Right on cue. Checking in with Bunnybee. See if we can find any value with that heavy investment in this fourth round.
I think PRS are aware. I think they know that there could be an operator somewhere in play. They've played very cautious, just very slow on this default. Now everybody grouped up towards C. It will be a C hit. Let's see if this trip gets sniffed out.
Top is here.
Bunnybee has something to say.
Not that one. That one. Target found. Spooky down. And now Bunnybee pops the ult to stay alive. Can flash true to help out. First flash backside. Aerial in a really nice spot. Unreal shot out from the Sentinel. Now Ghost is just mauling PRS. They had no shot tray.
What was that hold from Bunnybee and Aerial? I mean, Aerial just solo back sight, but it was Bunnybee who was honestly hunting the entire round for a first blood. In garage is basically running all the way out as well, peeking into window. PRS, they did a good job of not getting picked off initially, but the disruption from Bunnybee was just too much. And then you have the Cypher in back sight just getting fed info by Bunnybee's ult that was popped that you were talking about. It was pretty clean, and I think that's why you're seeing a very early timeout here from PRS. Ghost Gaming have looked so confident in a lot of these rounds, taking the fight to PRS, disrupting their attack side.
Now,
And you look at the stat line right now, Bunnybee and Aerial sitting at the top, hefty at the top as well.
yeah, now obviously we have no visibility in what the comms look like and what the conversation is right now on the timeout side for PRS, but you mentioned it, right? Early timeout. What's the conversation looking like here? Is this by your estimation, is this a strategy conversation? Is this more of a morale conversation? What's going on?
I think it's got to be a morale conversation, because the way that you lost this last round, it kind of just felt like it got out of control, right? You didn't get first blooded early on, but then when you go for the actual site hit, right, the right utility wasn't there. Maybe you could throw a cage up to ensure that you could walk all the way up and not get disrupted by the operator of Bunnybee. And maybe this timeout is to just talk about exactly what I just said. Like, what can we do to get ourselves into a spot where we can actually get on the site before we get taken out? But look at the mini-map right now. This deep cam to set up Bunnybee on C-Long secures so much space and information that Ghost Gaming are ready if this is a type of A hit. Look, 2 players in short. You already have the Clove cheating on over. Oh, I like that use. ISO vulnerable to get the drone out of Addo.
Well, it's funny you're mentioning that. I was looking at the clone that was just used to fake a trip on the all the way down B or C long, excuse me. but the patience and the timing of it was really nice. Vanitas is there. Bunny B arrives. And that's the problem with playing against... Yes, I understand it's Nico. But that's the problem with playing against a Yoru. Yoru, Bunny B set the TP clone just on the other side of the trip, rotated all the way back A, and then hit the clone. And at that point, Bunny B was already A, getting ready to provide value. That was an insane setup.
Yeah, there's a lot of different layers to this defensive side right now. Also, Bunny B, Doug, is doing 360s.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like,
yeah.
Consistently. Like,
yeah.
This is not good if you're PRS. The confidence that Bunny B has right now, especially with that operator, it can feel like, honestly, Bunny B can do no wrong at a certain point. So PRS need to be able to shut down Bunny B and quickly, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. That TP was seen as well. And I wonder if Bunny B is going to decide to go for a walk down at some point. But look at the change of setup, right? Ariel now has trips on this A site. And that clone was used so early on that it's not going to be able to be used to sniff those out.
Second.
This double trip, that's going to be rough.
Yeah, if they commit to A, you're absolutely right. I wondered how long it would take for Bunny B to get curious. Yeah. PRS have a serious problem on their hands. And it's called Bunny B.
This first blood tracker is going to be ridiculous. I feel like Bunny B has gotten that initial off throw so many times, and now you're forced to go away with no smokes
into those trips.
This is going to be, it's going to be so difficult.
Cam down. Remember, Ariel's the other one who's been popping off for Ghost. Oh, right, naturally.
Dart from Hado Lover.
I mean, absolutely insane. And now the spike is committed. They've got a shot at this. Hunter's Fury online as well, along with Luna's Rolling Thunder.
Exactly what I was going to point out. There's so much stall from this breach that you can actually just rely on playing your Sova ultimate at the very end.
But Sova's playing on site.
Almost dead.
Bunny B's now down. Miara trying to funnel out. 2 kills found, and now the Rolling Thunder. But is it too little too late? Ado's down to 12 HP. Luna's much better off, but there's so much left to be done. You still have to deal with the shield. Borderline unwinnable in that spot there. I know it was a 2v2, but the advantage was heavily on the side of Ghost.
Yeah, I just feel like the post-plant play just wasn't the correct call. You know, playing the Sova inside the site. I feel like PRS really should have just relied on Luna's utility to delay that retake and then fell back on the double shocks, the Hunter's Fury from Ado. Instead, trying to take the fights against a composition that loves to brawl it out. It's just a bit of a strategic relapse, I would say, from PRS. I feel like we talked about fighting fire with fire would be bad for PRS. And that's the epitome of that right there in that last round. So now you're kind of tilted and you just want to run it down B. I mean, you do get the first blood, though.
I'm telling you, there's a... Oh, my goodness. They're all lit up. 1 kill found. A lot of damage done. Zev, 20 HP and now dealt with. Beautiful flash as well. No access to site.
Has Bunny B whiffed an operator shot yet?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
Now they're stuck to wait on the other side of this trip. As soon as it's cleared, Ariel knows something is up. And you've lost all contain on the other side of the map as well.
One enemy remaining.
Everyone's getting taken out. Gracious does get a kill onto Ariel there, but Ghosts are so confident, understanding the weapon advantage. I mean, look at Vanitas just basically running it down front B all the way wrapping garage.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't you be confident if you were up 6-1 and your duelist was 12-3?
Yeah,
I'd be confident.
100%. Yeah, and Vanitas is like, okay, I have a Phantom. I know I'm going up against what, light armor at max.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Let me just run it down and take everybody out. 1-shot headshot. Too easy right now for Ghost Gaming on this defensive side. I spoke about the fact that Ghost has limited reps on this map, right? And they have tons of footage on PRS. I think we're seeing a lot of anteing being done from the side of Ghost, and it's been off of disruption, but even the ISO vulnerables, you know, on the common drone spots that PRS like to go from. Yeah. I think it's very important that we touch on that.
Yeah, there does feel like there's a little bit of that. It also, I want to go back to what you mentioned at the beginning of the cast. The composition leans towards it. The play style seems to lean towards it. They just want to fight. It's swing or be swung, and Ghosts are winning every single time.
And look at this. Unreal. Pushed all the way up.
Yeah, how do you get away with that?
And the coolest thing is this cam sets you up for another opportunity.
You can hear the dart. And Bunny B
doesn't scan though.
Position given away twice. And now, what's interesting there is, you know, there's an op in the Yoru's hands, but they were playing close with the shorty is what they showed. So they rotate away. No TP to set them up on the other side of the map either.
Yeah, but the problem is without that breach utility on this A site, you're very limited on your options. You're going to have to invest this Yoru ultimate to be the info.
Destabilizing.
Anita's turning the flash. Oh my goodness. That would have been filth. But if it's not Vanitas, it's Miara, it's all of Ghost. Yeah. Brother, this looks brutal.
Yeah, it does look cooked for PRS right now on this attack side. And then at what point do you go for the double timeout in one half or what? Because I feel like a lot of coaches would take the opportunity in the maybe in the next round to try to salvage this half entirely. Because you feel like Haven historically has been an attack favored map, right? 3 sites to choose from.
Right, yeah.
You can manipulate rotations a lot. So being down 7-1 is extremely rough, and with all this confidence brewing from Ghost.
I mean,
you still have that ISO ultimate to use as well.
Yeah, we haven't even seen that. We haven't seen the Gulag. This is, again, friendly reminder, this is PRS's map pick. Finally, the Gulag online with the shield. I mean, you didn't even need the shield, forget it. It's just out. I mean, it's insane. They can't mess up. It's impossible for them to mess up. Ghosts are playing borderline perfect Valorant here with the confidence, with the fact that they're doing whatever they want. How do you stop them?
I don't think you can at this point. Buddy B has been running it down at every spot. And I mean, okay, the way you do stop it is you have to play very slow and controlled and use reactive utility with your breach.
All right, let me play devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Well, let me play a devil's advocate here because they've tried that too, right? So if you are going to play slow on the attacking side, Ghost have punished by going down too long, by taking grass. They've tried the slow default C, they tried the slow default A. I mean, Dre, fix that. Fix this.
You have to play, but this is what you have to do. You have to play a slow default everywhere where you're kind of scouting where the defenders are trying to push up. And then play reactive off of that. Right? So like you need to have, you know, maybe your Omen on the top C box kind of jiggling because you know that Bunny B is going to go for these operator picks. Use that cam out in mid and then maybe like a brick smoke at A with your Yoru taking a flash with a stun to control A long, right? But we're not seeing any of that. Ghost has had complete map control. Just now, PRS have some information on this close mid push, but what is really being done with it, right?
Yeah, and they don't even have, it's not even real info. They just tuck the dart.
Yeah, they tuck the dart. They're still in mid.
Yeah.
Like there is no threat on once the information is gathered.
Oh, brother. Oh, brother. 2 kills found. Biffy and Vanitas. There's a swing off the shield. Another killed found.
One enemy
Oh, they're picking them apart at the seams.
They're just getting bullied.
And that's it. Again, all of that was set up off of the fake info. They tucked the dart. It wasn't cleared. Okay, we're safe. Nope. They were not.
The thing is, Doug, is when you're running a breach comp like this, or PRS, and the Yoru, you can actually punish a lot of these aggressive pushes from Ghost if you use utility behind it, right? I just think that PRS are so scared. They get the info that there's players in mid, and they think that, oh, just the dart and the cam is going to thwart, like, any other type of aggression.
Right.
But it's not, because Ghost haven't gotten punished yet.
Right.
So, like, you need to layer more utility. Like, use the breach, use the Yoru to actually punish the walk down mid once you get the info. But it just hasn't happened yet.
You want to break that one down? You want to take that?
Yeah, I mean,
you can have that one.
Oh, well, there's the punish that I was talking about, Doug. There you go. There you go, bro. But it needs to happen earlier, right? Like before you're down 2-3 members.
And down 8 rounds. Spooky caught and unfortunately cleaned up. PRS did manage to get one round on the board, and that one almost got away from them too. I don't want to pile it on while they're down, but
100%.
I do want you to I do want us to think about how the one round that PRS won went down to a 1v1, and so this is already dominant, and it could have been worse in a lot of ways. I mean, Ghost Gaming they've run amok.
Yeah. Everything that they're doing right now, the way that they condition the early round space taking is kind of just painted the picture for them to be at the right spot most of the times that PRS is leaning towards. Right, even this round, look, 3 members towards C. Solo Sova on A. Like, you need to do the push and pull that we talk about so many times in Valorant, especially on a map like Haven. You need to manipulate rotations. Yeah. But look, no A control after that dart was being used. It's... PRS just have no idea what the defense are doing, and the defense are able to read where the attackers like to go. This deposit was great, though. Yep,
that was perfect. First time they really take advantage of that. Remember, a couple of rounds ago, Zev was playing from this position and got opt. This time, Vanitas overstays their welcome just a tad, and now the neural theft will open things up a bit, in theory.
We do have only one player, only Aerial, to defend the C.
Wait a second. There's a chance. Aerial now down, but Bunny B arrives at the scene with the op in hand, and ult popped. And it's going to be so good. All that info gathered. The flash is connecting. Bunny B waiting for just the right moment to pop out, but Zev gets 3. VR in a 1v2. Knife out. 30 HP. No, don't get you. What?
What?
A 1v1. Of course.
What?
The 1v1 and the Red Bull clutch go the way of Ghost. Oh my goodness.
No way!
Unreal.
The Sova ultimate was just paired up with the Yoru ult of Bunny B, just pinging everybody on the minimap, but that should never happen, Doug. That was the round that surely PRS wins. Zeb did so much work from start to finish. Couldn't close it out at the end, but it's just too scrappy. It's way too scrappy. The chaos is too much for PRS to handle, and it's an 11-1 half for Ghost. That is just a complete dismantling of a team on this first map.
And it's honestly so poetic to go down to a 1v1 like that, and it's just snappy and it's perfect out from Ghost. And right, but now PRS are on the defensive side, and so I'm trying to inject a little bit of hope into the situation, but then I'm reminded that Ghosts are running a 2.5 duelist comp on attack, and it's a 3-site map, and the odds are slim.
Yeah, and all of A-Link has been taken. There's a plant here as well. It was a free spike down, and now Aerial has just freebies.
And a cage to get away. Now they're going to be able to... Yeah, I mean, that's okay. That happens to the best of us. Nobody saw that. Those are some of the hardest kills. I fully understand. Ghost in a 2v4, trying to secure this pistol round. Gracious, much weaker. And still a shot at this. This might seem dire, it might seem grim, but it is still possible. The metal will not connect. Zev sticking the defuse all the way. PRS gets a 2.
But at what cost, Doug? At what cost?
Brother, any wins
it
a win
kind of
right
feels
now.
like you are delaying the inevitable. Yeah, I don't... A rare whiff, I guess we should say, for Bunny B, who's just been on point this entire game.
Yep.
That was that one kind of just slipped away, and it does happen to the best of us, like you said. But I still think Ghosts were in full control of that round. It was a good retake though from PRS to take advantage of the mistakes that were made in terms of the whiffing and whatnot. And now you do have an opportunity to bring things a little bit back in your favor. This reach stun with the Yoru control in a lobby, you could do a lot of damage against this eco round.
But brother, look at the buy. They forced. Bunny B's now dead. Trading it right back. Oh my goodness. This is how this gets out of hand again. They finally win the pistol. They finally have some advantage. But Ghost force up. They punch right back. And PRS has no idea what hit him.
Trying to get down and spawn. Ghosts are playing some very disrespectful Valorant right now.
I mean, just...
They do not care. And I mean, I guess they should, right? Like, you don't want a team to feel like they have a chance of getting back into the game. Kick them while they're down, I guess, if you are in such a lead like this. And that's kind of what this round felt like.
Bro, they just went for the jugular and cooked them.
Yep. Seeing the power of that ISO wall being used A-long as well, you know, being able to sneak up behind it. Gracious being caught completely off guard. Then there's those stingers. We've seen how strong the stinger is in this current meta with that light armor.
Yeah.
The run and gun is just, I mean, that thing, the time to kill on it when you connect those shots while you're running is just, it's so fast.
Yeah.
Really hard to react and be able to hit a headshot when I mean, you're dead in what it seems like
half a second.
just like less than a second. Yeah.
Ghost up 12. They're up by a lot on map point. Unfortunately for PRS. Oh, I was gonna say 2 pies. One of them has been cleaned up, but the gun different. Not like this. Not like this.
So snappy.
Dude, Vanitas was just let off the leash and was going all the way. But PRS still in a shot at this. They have 2 up. Yes, Stingers and a Marshal and a Sheriff. And that's now down. Biffy swinging out to get the last. Luna was there to greet. A 1v2. With Stinger in hand, now weapon upgraded to a Vandal. Much more formidable. But the formula is still left to be solved. 1 spotted. And the echoing of the shot will confirm the presence of the second. As the dart is cleared. Luna on the swing. The bullets will not be enough. The personnel will not be enough. PRS, unfortunately, just get destroyed as Ghost Gaming obliterate them on Haven. And again, I hate to say this. I don't want to be that guy. That was their map pick. Maybe map 2 will tell a different story. We'll see you guys on the other side of this break.
Red Bull gives you wings.
I don't really like committing to things. I'm scared. But when Verizon announced that I could lock in a low price for 3 years, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Can you hear me now?
Welcome back to Verizon Valorant Game Changers North America. It's day 7. It's Swiss round 7. It is 2 elimination matches. We are in the throes of the first one. And well, if you are just joining us and you missed the first map, rest assured you didn't miss a thing. Ghost Gaming just destroyed PRS in that opening map, 2-13. And, you know, oftentimes I'll say something really insightful and clever and creative. Like, man, the timeline really doesn't tell the tale. And if you just watch the numbers don't know, Dre, this tells the entire story.
Yeah, it was a dominant performance from start to finish for Ghost. The confidence was just brewing from every single member, it felt like. And it's just some ridiculous plays being made. Walking out mid from Bunny B, like all the way into T-spawn at some point when Ghost was on the defensive side. It just got so out of control for PRS. And for PRS, you're going on now Sunset, which is the next map. You just lost to Teddy Tactics, 13-7 on it.
It's Ghost map pick.
Yeah, you can't imagine that the vibes are feeling that great. Obviously the coaching staff for PRS is gonna have to come up with like a Naruto level speech to try to bring this one back, I feel like. But that's pretty much it that you're working with right now. I feel like Ghosts are just showing that they're on a different level right now. Yeah,
I mean, it's hard to it's hard to break down a map like that, to be honest. I think we can talk about all the awesome things that Ghost did, and I think we did, but the truth is there was a lot of really cool macro that they were doing. You talked about it a bit during that map. Talked about some of the conditioning. You talked about how aggro they wanted to be at the beginning and the denial of space. But they also just were diffing them, right? They were winning all of the gunfights they were taking. Bunny B didn't miss until what, the second half, the pistol of the second half? I don't think Bunny B missed a single bullet up until that point.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, and that's just so hard to play against. And we set it up, right? That composition is made for dueling. So the fact that PRS was so willing, I don't even want to say willing because they kind of just had the fight taken to them most of the times. But the fact that it did get so chaotic for them and they weren't able to like control that, you can't imagine Sunset will be anything different. I mean, you're really going to have to dig deep and find a different gear. You're going to have to do some soul searching if you want to bring this series back and bring it to Lotus, which it just seems like it's going to be very difficult because, like I said, for PRS, you lost to Teddy Tactics and you basically got shellacked on that map as well. Teddy Tactics had 12 first bloods against Prosperity X, which is kind of a similar tale of what happened on this map for a Ghost on Haven, 10 first bloods to 5, right? So if you want to try to bring this one back on your defensive side, you have to be willing to still take fights because you're not going to be able to beat Ghost without taking certain duels, right? Because if you don't go in with confidence that you can actually fight back, shoot back, I feel like Ghost will just run all over you. Brother. But you also don't want to be giving the first bloods. So it's like, it's kind of like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, right?
Yeah,
so
that's exactly what I was going to say. What depth, what like deep wellspring of confidence do you think they can pull from here to want to take these fights? I'm not swinging Bunny B. I'm not fighting Bunny B after that.
Right?
No, and then Aerial too. And that literal, I mean, all of Ghost.
Yep. But like in a way, like you kind of have to. You have to do it with utility. That's the thing, right? Like if you're not confident enough, or it's not even a confidence thing. If you're just not winning the duels, right? You need something to fall back on, which is usually utility.
Right.
And PRS didn't really show that level of depth in that last map. Nope. Right? Sunset is a different map. This is like a very common Breach Teo map in this current meta, right? With like some Vice play.
Right.
So maybe you could string together and get some punishes off of the salvos with the fault lines. I think that's like your only hope in a way. And you look at this, it actually is a change of comp for Prosperity X. They tended to lean more towards the Rays on Gracious, I believe. So maybe this Neon could be enough to, take certain space confidently with that slide. But then again, Vanitas has looked so good on the Neon on this map as well for the side of Ghost Gaming. And now it's Bunny B who's actually on Initiator on that Breach role. I gotta say, Doug, when your Breach is dropping bombs, it can feel very, very oppressive for the opposing team.
Oh, for sure.
Right? That Breach ultimate getting online, for the bonus, whatever it may be. That's not a good feeling to have.
No, not at all. Mirror compositions on the side of both. Map 1, unfortunately, could have been an email. We'll see if Map 2 is a much better situation for Prosperity. There's really no other way to paint the picture. They've got to win, and they've got to win now, or else they're sitting on the outside looking in for Stage 1. You've got to forget about Haven. You've got to forget about how brutal of a loss that was, and you've got to be able to focus in on this.
And I feel like starting on the defensive side kind of works against you too, because
in a way, yeah.
I mean, you might just get ran down, and imagine you lose this pistol round to something extremely aggressive from Ghost, who's probably going to continue to push your spawn until they get punished for it. If this pistol round doesn't go your way, you might just get rolled over. It will be a full mid approach from Ghost Gaming.
And they've already taken
Vice Flash used with a smoke top mid. Yep.
Yeah, and they've already taken a main. Look, Gracious is already up off of the one-way.
This is that confidence that we were talking about, though. But look, I feel like Ghost are ready to re-clear this with the stealth bot.
There's no way. PRS gets the first, but Ariel's there on the counter, and now rotations are going to be coming through. So far, it's just one, though. Luna is here. Luna was here as Bunny B opens the site up.
Was here is definitely play. It's not over yet though, right? 2v3. You still have salvos online. It could create enough chaos to.
It's a 2v4. Don't lie to the people.
Oh, 2v4. Sorry, my cam is blocking the aerial of still being up.
And
This is difficult.
Yeah,
this is difficult.
Yeah, but there's always a chance, and this is why you play the game. Biffy with the paranoia at the ready will connect onto the first. Ariel with 3 on the round. The fourth tucked right behind the little generator. An inevitability as Biffy gets the last. Ghost get the pistol. And Dre, you were mentioning, you know, what if they lose this pistol? Well, now you get to break that down. What if they lose the pistol?
And it's not even just that, but it's the way that you lost it as well. You had the A line, but the re-clear of Ghost was just, it was extremely good. The fault line from tiles to hit everybody that's, you know, in that back line towards that orb, you know, it hits elbow and lane. And then you have a neon stun for close. You got salvos to trap anybody that's close in. It was very, I feel like Ghosts are just so layered with this, and because you lost that pistol, yeah, it just feels terrible. Right now, it feels like nothing is working for you. Your silent stack isn't even at the right spot.
The Vice util is. Yeah, and it did slow them down a little bit, but you're right. They're not here. The personnel is not here. The side has been lost. I mean, do you try to play for damage? You don't want to give ult orbs over. You just die to the spike.
Oh, you don't. Especially with Ariel being so close to that Vice ultimate. 3 orbs on there. You could easily get that up for the bonus round if you go hunting.
Well, they are going to fully commit to this. Vanitas will fall. Probably one of the last times we'll see Tejo be as much of a nuisance as he is after the nerf.
Hold on.
Spam connecting. Gracious in and out like a thief of the night. Ultimately dies. And PRS is left to 1. Spooky. Can't solve a thing. Ghosts get their second.
Some decent damage though. I liked how PRS were able to punish the aggressiveness of specifically Vanitas close spawn. I think that's like a good highlight for PRS, something that they're gonna need to do more often on this defensive half if they want any chance of bringing it back. Because if you let Ghost get away with those aggressive positionings, you know, and the disruption on the post plant, then it's really just over. Yeah. So the fact that you did that on an eco round of yours, and it kind of like you had some decent success, I think is a good shine. But are you gonna be able to handle this fast B split? Zev isn't able to.
I mean, how do you? You've got a Neon running at your face with a Bucky. Spooky's been caught. They're just kind of waiting, although there is a little bit more behind this. The Ghost connects. Yara grabs the second. And now Gracious and Luna are going to rotate back into the site. Again, a 2v4. They consistently find themselves in these massive man-down situations.
Yeah. This retake is...
My blind is dead.
pretty much impossible. I feel like you should just go for a save at this point. You know, bring those rifles into the next. You probably have a greater chance. And Gracious just falling for free right here leaves Luna all alone, who had some great defensive utility to kind of stop Ghost in their tracks after that first blood in the market. But I think that Ghost just had a really good game plan for like that step 3 of taking backside V, right? Step 1 was, let's get market control, see if we can snag a first blood with that Bucky, you know, like little cheese play with the breach stun being used in the market. That works. You get delayed by the breach utility of Luna, and then you have an extra, you know, layer of breach flashes to go and smother backside with the breach C's. It looks good for Ghost. They really look like they're reversed on this composition. They look like they want this one today.
Aerial falls. I imagine. Actually, was that really just a whole util? What happened there? There was no assist on that.
I think it may have been a fault line from Luna as well. Yeah, just a little cheese play cooked up, but you're still at a huge disadvantage here.
I mean, I don't really know how you find a silver lining in this. I will say this, though. Zev had a Phantom, and now Spooky, every single time. Spooky's left in a 1v2, tagged up with the Stinger, and we'll get penned through. Bunny B cleans him up. Ghosts get up to 4, and they just continue to pile it on.
This might be a Vanita's highlight reel on this attack half.
Yeah.
We saw some crazy spray transfers on that first map on the ISO, but now with Neon just being completely unleashed in terms of movement. I mean, literally just jumping all over the place, getting slide kills, looking extremely comfortable doing so as well. Yeah, this one is getting out of hand very quickly for PRS, even being up with that first blood. It just doesn't feel good, losing 4 rounds in a row, considering how things went in the last map. But if PRS can get a first blood on a gun round, maybe?
Maybe. And so they have. So far, so good. Spooky gets the first. Ult has been nullified. And a numbers advantage for PRS for the first time in a really long time.
And everybody dodged that Vice ultimate as well, so best chance PRS has had to win a round so far.
Yeah. But they have to be able to convert it. We've seen some of these messy situations kind of get out of hand, but so far, they're staying in the fight. And every kill has been traded, but when you're up numbers, that adds up. Gracious on the tap. Looking to stick the defuse. It's already gotten to half. Biffy with so much to do. Gets it down to 1v1, but doesn't swing. The defuse lands. PRS get on the board.
This time not falling to that Neon slide play in the market. And the retake was awesome. Like I said, I think Luna's breach utility has been like pretty good at stalling and kind of making these players of Ghost get out of position.
Right. For
PRS to be able to punish on the retake. The fact that every member of PRS also dodged that Vice ultimate from Aerial was a big key factor into winning that B retake. Like, everybody was very comfortable getting out, trusting the due process of the protocols that they have, and they profited because of it. So now you kind of have a chance to swing things a little bit back in your favor. That being said, it's still an uphill battle for the defensive side.
I mean, look at the money for PRS too. It's not great. So if you do want to claw your way back into this, you've got to be able to string together a couple of rounds. One is not enough, and you can't continue to do this like trading rounds, or you're just going to be at an awkward financial situation the entire map.
And this round, it was actually a fake being thrown by Ghost. So it's just some really good play right now from the IGL of Ghost Gaming, just having a complete read on the game.
Vanita's playing in a position where the flash isn't going to punish. Spooky tried swinging behind it anyway. And instead of taking A, which is open, they've decided to take the fight, and it's a disaster.
Luna, who was sitting at 0 kills before this round, coming up huge in tiles there, pushing down mid. Sometimes you overcook on the attacking side. I think once you get that pick B, maybe you actually do just go all the way back into A main, but
30 seconds left.
Everything's left up to Biffy here in a 1v3, and there's just too many members. PRS here, reciprocating end. So yeah, good proactivity from PRS to get a little bit active there in mid. Luna was stuck in such an awkward spot, fighting a player top mid and tiles at the same time, but still coming out on top. Huge from the Breach player of PRS.
Yeah.
Gracious was just a distraction there with the Neon ultimate being used. You know, just spamming around that mid smoke. But it's going to be a full A hit now for Ghost Gaming. Let's see if Luna can replicate the last round and get another multi-kill here.
Keep a close eye on Biffy's ult. A deep smoke and then maybe a cheeky little TP or something along those lines. But instead, it's Armageddon on the other side. They've got nowhere to go. They had nowhere to go.
Just absolutely cooked that Breach ultimate, that Armageddon. And that Neon stun from Gracious, weathering that A fight. We got a game on our hands all of a sudden, Doug. PRS have crawled back, getting a little bit of momentum, something that they couldn't really do at all on that map of Haven. Waking up a little bit here. Winning a lot of these engagements too, these 1v1s. Which
was something that, I mean, was ever elusive on Haven, was ever elusive on the first couple of, what, 4 rounds of Sunset too?
Yeah, and here's the thing. Where did this all start from, right? It all started from what I was talking about earlier on. For PRS, if you want to be able to beat Ghost with the way that Ghost have been playing, you need to use your utility to punish them. And that's what we saw, right? From the eco round. Yeah, it didn't go your way. You were able to punish aggressive positioning. You only had classics. You brought it down to 3 members.
Right.
I think that builds up confidence for when you actually get to the gun round, which is what we saw, right, with PRS's first round win.
Yeah. Yep.
That retake on the B site, using all that utility, flushing members out. Now, like, it builds you confidence to start winning aim duels. You know, Luna walking down tiles, engagements. Look at Zeb here running it down in mid. Okay, these don't go their way, but I mean, the confidence was there, right, to take the swing in the first place and go for the hunt.
Miara is going to try to hang on to that weapon. Ah, the classic banner. Miara falls. Addo gets 3. The Phantom is not carried over. And now the money's interesting for Ghost.
Yeah, it looks like they're still opting to buy their way into this one. And I think it's... I think they might still be able to get a little bit of a buy on some of the members in the next round. But look at the ultimates on the side of Prosperity X right now, right? You've got Vice ult. You've got Breach ult, Omen ult for a fast rotate. These are really good ultimates for retaking. And on the end of Ghost, all you have to work with is Armageddon. It's been a change of setup. Now it's a trap play towards B. Off a contact here.
Oh my gosh. Still gets away with one. And then the delay on the fill from the stun is perfect. So they can't capitalize on the Rolling Thunder. They couldn't capitalize on the Paranoia. That's beautifully handled by Ghost.
And then you've also taken all of this A space because of the main pack being towards B main. I mean, you see a Breach Neon there, you know that the side is weak.
Turning the flash like that, Vanitas piling it on. This might be where things turn. PRS have to find some sort of a way to tip the skills back, because for as much as PRS have been able to claw their way back into this, history has a tendency, a propensity to repeat itself, and I'm more inclined to believe that Ghosts are going to run away with it again. I don't know why that was so hard to say. I'm sorry.
Unless Zeb can win a 1v3.
Right.
This is just so difficult. There is ones though. Oof. Oh, there was an opportunity, but Zeb just couldn't connect the spray onto Aerial. Yeah, that round was just one from Vanitas winning that 1v1 against Gracious in B main. The fact that it was the Neon taking the first engagement too and everybody was sitting behind, it kind of felt like Ghost had a good read of that being a possibility from the side of PRS.
Yeah, I agree with you. Vanitas winning that 1v1 is huge, but again, all of the credit and all of the compliments towards Bunny B's stun. Without Bunny B's stun, they funnel behind the Rolling Thunder, they funnel behind the Paranoia, and they're cooked.
Good reactive play.
Yep.
So now it's a walk down mid for PRS. Off of the close of the door. And that's information gathered. The drone stealth bot being used to re-clear all of that B main space. But it's a contact approach from A main.
Anita's turning. Yeah, turning that flash. Now, if you're PRS, given all the noise that was A, what are you reading here on the map? Because Zeb's in a great spot. Oh, Aerial's there to turn. Put that fire out, and that could have been a bloody mess. And now the Rolling Thunder will attempt to pave the way. I believe Spooky did dodge it. Still in a spot to make a play, but Bunny Bee's on the counter. And now the reinforcements slowly start to trickle in, and they slowly get picked apart once more. Luna in a 1v2. That's all it'll be. Mayara saves the round for Ghost, and they get up to 6.
It was chaotic, but because of the A exchange, I feel like PRS had a really good read on where Ghosts were going to go, to answer your question. I think that Zev, you know, so many targets on your screen, the pressure is getting to you for sure. It's an elimination match. I think any other situation, any other day, the pressure doesn't get to you like that, and maybe you kill 2, right? At very worst case. But it really came down to AdoLover overextending right there. Still had a stealth bot in a 3v2, deciding to peek out onto the actual site. Ghost, we've seen how good they are in terms of their mechanics. You cannot be giving those 1v1s. You need to rely on your utility, your team play to take them out. So B space in this round was gathered, and the reaction of Ghost is just to take all of A. Spice Wall could isolate his members in street.
Flash is pretty. They try to pounce. They try to punish. And so far, this thing has some legs.
Spike planted.
You have Paranoia to work with, and a lot of breach utility from Luna.
That ult from Ariel will buy sometime. Very nicely done. Ariel again. We talked about how good Ariel was on Haven. Continuing here on Sunset. Vanitas still turning flashes. Hey, how many of those? How many of those has Vanita turned?
It's all of them. It feels like sensitivity is looking crazy right now, just flicking everywhere. Even going for the reslide in. AdoLover does get the punish, allowing for that Armageddon to come up online, but round's over. Yeah, as soon as it looks like things are in PRS's wheelhouse, it just gets stripped away from the proactivity of Ghost Gaming. PRS taking a little bit too long to come up with a plan on that retake. But a part of it is because what you said, that Vice ultimate of Ariel, kind of just delaying things, and then Ariel taking the fight all the way to PRS, confident that it's only going to be, you know, I mean, sheriffs at most.
At best, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
13-6 for Ariel. 3 rounds back in a row. Whatever momentum PRS may have begun to amass has just kind of slipped right through their fingers, and they're once again on this massive deficit.
It's been stripped away from you, and looks like it's just going to be some reactionary gameplay right now from the defensive side. Gracious almost goes down, still double dipping though. Biffy with that Omen TP is able to get out though. So everything was shown so far from Ghost towards A side. Because Gracious held that line, there's still 3 members towards B. Salvos might be used here. This is a trap on the B site. See if it pays out. PRS.
Miara feeling some of the pressure. There's Armageddon that you mentioned. Zev tucked in the smoke, waiting for just the right moment to strike. Bunny Bee checked it. The awareness was there, but the shots do not connect.
This top mid lurk as well. You're able to set up on the post plant. PRS need to speed up, and they need to speed up now. I think Biffy's gonna just win this for Ghost.
If he is on the prowl. Oh, and even the smoke to make it look like there's nothing there.
Yeah.
And now they've got the Armageddon that's going to funnel them out. Again, keep a close eye on the mini-map. Watch Biffy's position. Ariel getting tagged through the stun. Or through the spam, excuse me. As the smoke dissipates, Luna trying to connect. Boop! Biffy got cleaned up! Yo, it's Ado left in a 1v3. Ghost gets the round again. We thought the safety, we thought the security was with Biffy. But it was in the rest of the hands of Ghost.
It's just so difficult in this meta. If you take your time on the retake, that Teo utility is just way too strong. Salvos come back online. You still had an Armageddon to play with for Ghost as well. So it just creates all this chaos on the actual site. And like I said, if you don't make a decisive plan instantly, you're just left in the dust. And yeah, Biffy doesn't even need to come up huge right there. It just the initial stall from Ghost was so strong. Everybody understanding what they needed to do to secure that round win. And look at the change of pace now. Slowing down the round for Ghost at the very last moment of their attack half. Very spread default. And now everybody grouped up towards this A side of the map where there's only a Vice. Spooky left alone here with a Guardian. Does have the Vice ultimate online, but you cannot get taken out here. You need to have this for the retake. And this Neon walking up to this wall can actually punish you if there's a slide here. Spooky might not get out in time.
Just barely. And punishes Aerial. Now the question is, do they realize there was more than one? Well, wall is down now. Vanitas pushes forward. The salvos, the stun, everything through. A, is Ghosts.
Oh, look at this Omen ultimate as well from Zev.
Do they hear it? Yara's ready for it. If he was too.
Oh
yep.
my.
Piling it on. Meanwhile, Vanitas popping the ult. And Gracious swings into their death on the other side of the wall. Not able to find any value. As Vanitas doubles down, looks for two. And is still in play for the third. But the gun fingers go dry, and now Spooky's left in a 1v3. Another dominant half from Ghost.
And here's the problem is, where was that Vice ultimate when we're actually going for the retake? Gracious had already ran all the way out without a Vice ultimate to back them up. So it's just uncoordinated. Things are just slipping away from PRS. The team play not shining. Yeah, there was a little bit of brightness in that momentum swing halfway through, but that was quickly shut down by Ghost Gaming.
Yeah, bro. This
Ghost Gaming are now again just, yeah.
Go ahead.
They're just in full control again.
Yeah.
They stuffed the candle out. This is extremely difficult now for PRS. This pistol round is extremely important for them. It's like they are leaning towards the right side though. B is completely open. No Vice utility there other than the flash. It's probably going to be used on the retake, I presume.
Very likely.
They're just taking too long.
Yeah, meanwhile, the middle of the map has been fully taken away. Look at those two. Aerial was there. Biffy's there too. I mean, they were up on the entire map, and now, instead of just giving back some of that and playing around their numbers, they're committing to this once more. But they don't realize that they may bit off a bit more than they bargained for. A fadeaway shot from Miara. And Luna left in a numbers down advantage situation.
You do have a B site to work with. Potentially, oh, you might get taken out right here. Oh, Bunny B. Disciplined on the approach, not going for the actual peak. There is a chance to get set up here on the post plant, but there's so much utility still to the side of Ghost. Stealth bot doesn't find out where Luna is, but it kind of makes it so only limited spots to play in.
And the stun was perfect from Bunny B. I think we've talked so much about Vanitas and Aerial obviously, and Biffy too have had pretty ridiculous moments, but Bunny B's utility has been a treat to watch.
Yeah, it's been awesome, and what a mix-up too, right? Going from playing the Yoru into a Breach. It's not something that a lot of players can do easily. Breach utility looked perfect in that round. I like the discipline of not taking the 1v1 onto Luna, who was running across B main that entire time. Really, Bunny B was positioned for it. She could have taken the timing if she wanted to, instead deciding to double up, use that utility to deduct where Luna would be in that post plant. And now, yeah, the Breach stun is just completely perfect. So now, Ghost put themselves in such a good spot to close out this map, or at least get to 11 rounds.
I mean,
we'll see though. This force buy from PRS, it could catch Ghost off guard.
How long can they conceal the threat that's waiting on the other side? A deep smoke across the middle of the map with the wall will cover, or picked up by Vanitas with a Bucky in hand.
I like using the Ghost early on though to kind of bait them in. To thinking that you have weak weaponry.
Yeah.
If you go back A here and you try to slide onto that Bucky of Vanitas, you're going to be taken out.
Yep.
Looks like everything's towards mid though for PRS. Going to do a B split.
That was the best weapon they had.
Yeah, with your tail utility being down 2, that's going to make it just that much harder.
Aerial's going to get stunned off the line. The paranoia through as well. Because showing they have a bit of their own. Spooky falls. Oh, gosh. Brother, they're shooting bodies across the map.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's the Bucky. Gun barrel spotted. Vanitas connects.
It's just a massive server right now.
Oh. Player standing.
Yeah, Luna left in a 1v4. Almost. Luna left in a 1v4 with Stinger in hand. Off of the flash. Finds their 1, but Bunny B cleans it up with the judge. Ghosts get up to 11. And now, I mean, you take a look. You start thinking about what's ahead of us. Because you mentioned it. Ghosts are in a position to get themselves to 11, which is great. PRS are broke. I mean, they have nothing to buy behind.
Yeah, and I haven't really seen any timeouts either for PRS other than that one on Haven, which is
in the first half after round 4.
Right, just now, of course, as I say it, there is a timeout, but it really does feel like it's just way too late.
Yeah,
way too late. I think maybe, you know, after you strung around those 3 rounds on your defensive side and you know, Ghost won one to like kind of break that momentum, maybe that's when you take your first timeout. I think it's just way too late now. 11-3 against Ghost, who you've mentioned it. Bunny B's utility has been perfect. Even with that market play, the reason why, you know, that that fault line and paranoia that was being used wasn't able to punish any of the Ghost members was because Bunny B was on the back of B site, Doug, holding a stun out to help. If members of PRS wanted to like try to run in and catch those players off guard that were stunned, that were flashed. So there was no punish being able to be had there for PRS, all because of Bunny B's fault line. Just one set of utility stopping 3.
It's just been so effective. And, you know, we talked about Bunny B a lot on Haven, and I mean, for good reason, to be fair. But it's hard to really see that utility shine on an agent like Breach, especially when you have a lot of the supporting cast performing as well as they are. But again, Bunny B deserves all the flowers. 11-7, but the utility has been gorgeous to watch.
Bunny B is going to get ran down here.
Yeah, potentially. If they fully commit to this, but it's actually Vanitas was pushing the pace, and Gracious was there with a bulldog in hand.
I saw pings on the minimap in the pre-round towards market, but yeah, I can't believe it was Ghost that ran down there.
Yeah. There's Bunny B. Again, utility, the judge, it doesn't matter. The value's found.
Spike down
Switching
B.
to the Spectre, now the Bulldog. I mean, just playing gun game right now. Bunny B's trying to collect all the stones.
Bunny B will fall. Do they have the spike? They've gotten all the way through B, but they were cut off. The rotations were not in time. And now the 1v3 is turned into 1v2. They'll rotate maybe all the way through, but I don't know if Ariel heard that. I don't think Ariel did.
An idea.
Well,
I saw a bunch of pings going towards spawn though on the minimap. But yeah, Ghosts are gonna just re-clear all of this B together so they can group up. That will give a free bomb plant, but the Vice Wall's still up, right? And you still have the flash in elbow as well. Flash doesn't connect though. Now Lover can use that. Their advantage to kind of maneuver around.
Alien Biffy are going to start rotating over. Omen has all of this utility. Lover has to get a perfect timing and then get 2 without any real position for a trade. Footsteps heard, a cave spotted, and there the beautifully done. The Red Bull clutch from PRS will get him up to 4. Everything had to go right there, and it did.
Yeah, that flash was just a little bit too high to see Addo. So that the fact that that doesn't ping and gives full information to Addo that, okay, they think I'm not in elbow. I mean, you're able to get that timing, reposition because of how far away Ghost were, and just get a free flank. Addo has been having such a great map so far. Really the shining star of PRS. 18-11. Another Armageddon online. Let's see what PRS cook up with this Armageddon. They are going towards the weak site right now in B main, but Aerial has been on fire in this match.
With a Sheriff in hand up close. Oh, it's so hard to be snappy in this tight of an angle.
Way.
The wall, a jump scare as Neon's in your face. Biffy's there on the trade. And PRS should be able to get out onto the site pretty cleanly now.
You still have Stealth Bot. You still have the stun of the Teo ultimate. Your salvos will come back online. It should be a good post plant for PRS, especially with trying to fish out this late flank in mid. We'll see if Bunny Bee gets spotted.
Didn't finish. Oh, footsteps given away though. Gracious dodging the stun, tries to turn the flash, but Bunny Bee's just better. And Vanitas popped the ult. All of a sudden, this is falling apart. And it does. Ghost gets a series point.
Way too many members of PRS falling back on that post plant for one player. For Bunny Bee, the breach. I feel like Gracious did a good job of distracting all that breach utility that Bunny Bee could have used for the retake. But everybody falling back just gives the entire site to Ghost.
Yeah.
And they're just able to smother you with that Neon ultimate.
Right.
It's just falling apart. It's just falling completely apart, and you got to give props where they're due. Ghost have looked great all series long on both maps. Really stepping it up a notch. Securing, it seems like, their spot on the main stage.
I mean, if there was any question about it prior to this series, it's been answered. They earned this one. Still have to get them over the finish line though, as the Rolling Thunder will push back members of PRS. Now they can try to fill in behind it.
And you got to remember, when it comes to, you know, round robins and stuff like that, every round counts, and the way that you win, like the plus and minus is extremely important for seeding and whatnot when it comes down to, you know, having an even record with other teams. So having a dominant win like this is extremely important. I mean, you want to win with as much of a lead as you can. And yeah, it's not looking good for you this round, but it still does feel like this should be Ghost to take, right? Match point, 12-4. You can give a couple away.
I mean, you still might not. I mean, this isn't like a 1v5 and they have a Sheriff. There's still a shot at this, albeit slim. But still a chance. The salvos go through, they don't connect. The spam deals a little bit of chip damage.
Aerial's still alive though. I mean, you are right. This isn't over.
Right. And note Aerial's one off of ult. If
Yeah.
Aerial gets a pick, all of a sudden we've got a mess. 70 HP on the swing. That's one down. Remember, this was a 2v4. The Rolling Thunder should push them away and should save the situation. Aerial left alone. Snappy, but not snappy enough. Zev gets through. We'll play another.
Breach ult had to be used. The way that things have been going, yeah, it's been extremely difficult on some of these post plants, even being up numbers for PRS. So the investment, I'm not against it. You got to start somewhere. A round win is a round win, and if you want to bring this one back, if you're PRS, it's got to be one round at a time. You just got to focus on what you can control. But look at this timeout from Ghost Gaming. I mean, perfect. Stopping momentum for sure, or trying to at least. That's the whole idea. And honestly, an opportunity now to come up with a play on this thrifty type buy that you're going to have. Go for something cheeky. You see Vanitas there with a Phantom and full armor. You imagine it's going to be something aggressive in this round. But then you also get to settle, you know, I don't want to call it nerves, but you get to just keep your eyes on the prize. You know, the coaching staff of Ghost is definitely going to be like, hey, you know, we have a lot of opportunities to close this map out, exactly like you said. Let's not let it get out of our hands. You know, this round we can go a little crazy, but the following round, you know, let's do one of our setups and be confident in our utility. Look at the ult that Aerial has as well. You have that Vice ultimate online. You imagine Miara is going to get that Armageddon for the following round. Or maybe even this one. I mean, it might be a control here. Get that Armageddon online, and if you get enough picks, you can retake with it. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, given how well Ghost have played on Haven and how well they've played here on Sunset, I'm not calling hey, let's win in the next round. I'm calling hey, what's a cheeky thing we can do to win this round and to win the series right now. But it doesn't seem like A main is going to be the control. But Vanitas is just going to pluck Gracious out of the dash. What in the world was that?
Yeah, there wasn't a flash on elbow or anything.
If
Good
he got
punish
up
on
a
the Biffy, though.
Yeah, got up a little too far there.
Yeah. Are you
Ariel
aware of
and
Ariel?
Miara both have ults. Well, Ariel will have it in the next round. And that's the Phantom too.
PRS. Finally, like, I feel like finally able to punish with their default.
Yeah.
I like the breach flash towards A as well on the fadeaway. That was heard from Bunny B. So that leaves one there, and yeah, or that was heard from Miara. So yeah, Bunny B pushes up into B main. I think gathering that orb is pretty impactful though, all things considered.
Why?
So building up towards that win contingency plan. I mean, at very worst for Ghost, when you get to 12 rounds, this is something that most teams do, is just stack up as many ults as you can, right, and just use them all in one round. Just secure the round win, or secure the map win. Well, yeah, that was all because of that fadeaway flash, though, from Luna. That was heard by Miara, so, like, that's why Bunny B pushes into B main. Good macro for PRS, honestly, in this round.
And it may look like all is lost, but the sun has not fully set on PRS's chances, as it seems like they're going to be in a decent financial situation. Spooky's a couple of points off of getting ult online. They're going to be able to buy guns into the next. It's a long road to ruin, but PRS are still in this thing.
Yeah, and that was being down a player early on too, right? Gracious had no supporting utility to take that peek into elbow. All it was Teo missiles on lane and elbow. But there wasn't like a flash there. There wasn't a stun from the breach. It's going to be a lean towards A again for the attackers. Maybe this time there's going to be a little bit more oomph behind it. And there needs to be honest. Otherwise, Gracious is just going to get picked off again.
Yeah. KC kept at bay by the salvos. An exchange of utility. It's a stalemate, at least for now. But now they can fill in behind this. Vanitas has been so good. Miara's there. They had a decent setup for a crossfire, but now the Armageddon has been invested, and that should be it. I mean, I don't know how you fix this.
Heroics.
Enemy remaining.
Yeah, I don't think that story is going to be told anytime soon. Spooky's got left in a 1v4. On the swing, cooked. 13-6 for Ghost Gaming. I mean, yes, much closer second half, but they obliterated PRS to work their way into the main stage. And again, if there was any doubt about whether or not they belonged before, all of those questions have been answered. Holy smokes, this team is good.
Yeah, 100%. Stepping up to the plate, not only individually, showing a lot of confidence in their play, but also the protocols, the macro was there too. You could tell that there was a clear game plan of how to deal with a lot of these situations, a clear game plan of how to attack on the defending side, right? Like these set plays that were made. And honestly, these util exchanges as well, how to come up on top. I mean, even in that last round, you look at the layered utility that was used from the side of Ghost, it was to their advantage the entire time. They won that little back and forth macro battle by just using one ability for 3. It was a phenomenal job for Ghost Gaming, and that's the way that you want to look to make it in to the main event, right?
Yeah.
Like that's how you want to make the main event. Like that was clean from Ghost Gaming.
We had talked so much about utility and how it felt like it was lacking on the side of PRS, and it is. I mean, it's almost icing on the cake that exchange was ultimately what won them the round. We're gonna throw it to a quick break. When we return, the Verizon post-match interview, and we still have one more series to go. We'll see you guys soon.
The human body was built to move, not trapped at a desk in one singular posture for 12 hours a day. It's time your chair evolved. This is Secretlab Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you, gamers, hybrid workers, artists, backing your every move.
Red Red Bull gives you wings.
You might have heard I'm going through a little upgrade with my tats. So when Verizon announced that everyone gets a free phone on any plan, pain-free, count me in. Try and beat it. I'll give you a sec.
Welcome back to VCT Game Changers North America, presented by Verizon. I'm Doug. With me on the call is Dre. We just watched a slaughter. It's slaughter, and yeah, the second map was a little bit closer, but it was an outrageously dominant win from Ghost Gaming, 13-2, 13-6. I mean, Dre, what are some of the takeaways from that series for you?
I think just clean game planning and team play, but also, you know, the confidence of these individuals on Ghost. I think it's something that is a little bit scary for me, but I mean, when it works, it works really well. You know, they look great today. They were able to, you know, take advantage of the fact that Prosperity X just didn't come ready to play. Let's just say it how it is. They were not ready for that type of pace that Ghosts were putting on them, and I think it's good. But you know, we'll see in the main stage if you can keep up that level of confidence against, you know, a greater opponent.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, a problem that they'll have to solve, and I'm sure the team will think through later. But I think for now, you just kind of get to bask in the dominant win that you did. And you know, yeah, actually, let's talk about the main stage a little bit, because I think you were the one who mentioned this. Right. The confidence that you have heading into main stage after winning 2-0 the way that you did, and you've got to be feeling really freaking good about yourself.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good because that's the way you want to make it in, for sure.
Right.
And also the fact that it was so dominant means you didn't really show your entire deck of cards, right? Like you still didn't get to showcase a lot of things, and that's very important because that means you don't have to like work on some of these maps so much. Like now, the next time they play Haven or Sunset, you just need to tweak maybe one of the halves that you played that you showed most of the time. But you know, you're able to hide, you know, for this example, most of your attacking half, right?
Right.
I believe it was for the last map of Sunset, and that allows you to focus on other maps, heighten your map pool, you know, get a lot more depth under your team. And I think we did see a lot of depth on these maps though as well from Ghost. So it's a lot of good signs for them going into this main event.
Yeah, again, for them to look as good as they did and for them to essentially stroll into main stage certainly boosts a lot of confidence heading into it. We do have a Verizon, excuse me. We do have an interview standing by. It is the Verizon post-match interview, and I believe it is Vanitas who will be joining us. Vanitas, a massive win. I mean, I lost track of how insane you guys looked, and I respectfully must disagree with your Twitter handle. I think after a win like that, you have an abundance of aura. How are you feeling after that win?
I'm feeling pretty confident. It's a really good like ego booster in a sense to go in to main event, and like it's just like after beating ourselves twice, we just had to boss up, shoot our guns, supreme confidence, run it down. To be honest.
Yeah, I actually want to talk about that. Was that like the game plan going in? Like, let's just be extremely confident, just actually run it down? Because you guys were just running around everywhere. I mean, Bunny B was taking these crazy timings out garage on the first map, going all the way like up grass. I mean, like real like ranked plays, I feel like, but it just like worked very well because, I mean, you guys didn't get punished at all.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. If we could just run them down, we'll run them down. There's no point in overcomplicating it because that's what happened in our last few series is we just like, we would win off of just straight up like either 5-hitting or rushing a site, but then we would kind of tail tuck, overcomplicate it, and then we just lose out. And it was just like the worst feeling in the world because we just lost our confidence in the middle of the round for no reason.
Was there anyone in particular on the team internally that was that motivational voice or that rallying cry? I'm mainly thinking about the second quarter of Sunset, if you will, where it felt like they were starting to claw their way back into it. It was tied 4-4, if I'm not mistaken, and then you guys ran away with it after that. Was there anyone who was the spark there in particular?
We low-key were just running it down, I'm not gonna lie. So we just had to like play a little bit smarter. So we just had to play a little bit smarter. We were trolling, but yeah, that was our game plan going into this one, was just play with like a lot more confidence than we were because we were low-key just scared in our last two series and ended up screwing us over.
I mean, the confidence worked. You guys looked insane.
Everybody played way more aggressive. It was insane. Everybody, I'm known for running it down, but I had some people with me this time, so it was pretty fun.
I'm sure if you watch back the VODs, there were plenty of compliments to how insanely well the team played. Congratulations on the win. Congratulations on making it to main stage. Pumped to cast you guys throughout the rest of the tournament. That is going to wrap it up. Yeah, of course. That's going to wrap it up for us from the Verizon post-match interview. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we have one more series to go, and it's going to be a good one. We'll see you guys soon.
It's for you. Do you like it? Come on, Charlie. Use your new door. Come on, let's go. I said go. Let's go. Silly dog. I'm going to trade you for a cat.
Red Bull gives you wings.
The new Red Bull Zero is here. 100% wings with monk fruit extract.
Welcome back to day 7 of Valorant Game Changers North America, presented by Verizon. I'm Doug. Dre on the call with me. We just watched, again, a really dominant first series. Kind of get us all excited for this next series ahead of us. Because, Dre, I think, while admittedly my hopes were pretty high for the first series, I think there's a lot to be excited for this series, too.
Yeah, the history between these teams is they've played against each other, I mean, 2 times already, and it's been close. Map 3s every single time. It could have gone either way the last time they faced. And yeah, it should be a banger if history repeats itself.
And it does have a tendency of doing that. Again, we do have one final series to close out the day, one final series to close out the Swiss stage, and one final series before we turn over to the main stage. And that's going to be Catface against Fish Fumblers. Still love the team name. Still love the logo. It's really freaking good, man.
Yeah, I love that logo. Just straight to the point. Straight to the point, huh?
and speaking of getting straight to the point, let's start to talk about these rosters. You mentioned the history already. You mentioned that there's a lot of back and forth there, and that the matches have been really good. They've been really competitive. What can you tell me about the roster specifically for Catface?
Well, Catface has a lot of experienced players. I mean, most notably at MEOW. I mean, she's been in the scene for so long, right? I mean, just has that veteran experience to kind of help, you know, the newer gen of players. And I mean, for the other end as well, it's kind of like that new gen of Valorant. But I mean, yeah, Catface is no joke. They have taken teams to the distance, right? Having 2-1 losses over FlyQuest, even Wadada, who's been looking great. These are heavy-hitting teams, Doug. So I think they should be favored here, especially given the fact that, you know, they've beaten Fisher Fumblers twice before. But you just never know when it comes down to these like high-pressure moments, and with a lot on the line, you can't afford to hesitate. One slip, it could all be gone, right? So
right,
you just never know.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that they had played a couple of times already. Both times it's been 3 maps. It's hard to beat a team twice in a row. It is. To do it 3 times.
3 times. I mean,
that's significantly more difficult. On the other side of the proverbial stage, you've got Fisher Fumblers, a team that, as you're mentioning, has pushed a little bit, but they come in with a pretty rough track record in these last couple of games.
Yeah, I mean, they've lost 4 games in a row. I mean, 2 of those were in like a collegiate tournament, so take that as you will. But they actually recently lost to Ghost Gaming as well, who we just saw play great.
Right. I
mean, I guess it was kind of close on at least Icebox when they played Ghost Gaming, and Marina had some great moments in that series. So definitely a player to look out for. Mechanically skilled for sure. The headshot rate is something that we have to keep track of. I mean, just watch. It's gonna be a pleasure.
We do have maps ready. We'll take a look at those here now, as that will set the stage, and that will inform us of where we're heading for this best of 3. Again, this will decide which team is headed onto the main stage. There's really nothing left on the other side of this. Ascent, Icebox, and then, if needed, Haven. We saw Haven in the last series, and it was a lot of fun to watch if you are a fan of Ghost Gaming. But Ascent, we haven't seen in a little bit, Trey.
Yeah, and both these teams run very vanilla comps. The only difference is one, specifically Fisher Fumblers, tend to lean on that Cypher pick, and MEOW or Catface tends to lean more towards the Killjoy. That's where Animal shines mainly. So it is kind of a battle for, you know, just like it's the classic Ascent thing. Like, who actually just plays the map best? Last time these 2 teams faced on this map, I believe it was Catface coming out on top in an OT win. So it's going to be very back and forth, or at least it should be. We'll see, though, because both these teams are coming off of pretty extreme losses. I mean, Catface losing 13-7 to FlyQuest, and Fisher Fumblers losing 13-8. So very similar stories on the tape. Both teams struggling on their defensive side. But again, the last time these 2 teams faced off, it was extremely close. 5-7, 5-7 each way. Comes down to OT, which is like just anybody's game at that point. It comes down to who wants it more, right?
Right. As you mentioned, a similar tale of the tape, and something we'll have to give. Both teams are coming in off of losses on Ascent, as you just so eloquently said. And then again, map 2 will be Icebox, and then map 3, if needed, Haven. Dre, given that both teams have kind of struggled on this map, given that both teams are coming off of losses, what do you make of the fact that Fisher Fumblers are wanting to take this series to Ascent to start it off?
I feel like maybe it's an opportunity to, show something new, showcase a new comp, or maybe a more efficient one. The last time they played Catface, they were running a very interesting composition. It was actually ISO, Yoru, Vice, Sova, Omen, right? And now they've gone towards the standard. So I think either maybe they think that, okay, the Cypher's better than the Killjoy, and that's where we're going to diff you. Or maybe they have another trick up their sleeve, and they're going to catch off Catface off guard in general. Because, again, the last time that Catface played Ascent was 3 days ago against FlyQuest. So you have a more recent VOD on Catface. And maybe that's the whole game plan going into it is, okay, let's try to ante them. We just saw them play on it. We have something special.
Well, we'll see if that's the case. Catface is going to be starting on the defensive side, which, as we have talked about many times throughout the lifespan of this map, tends to be defensive sided, especially if the comps are vanilla.
Yeah, 100%. When it comes down to those vanilla comps, I definitely tend to favor the defensive side. But again, this is truly that map where it's just, you know what you're going to get. It's very cookie cutter. Yeah, things have gotten a little crazy with some Teo compositions, and it has kind of actually leaned the map more on the attacking side, at least in VCT. But you're right. When it comes to the vanilla comps, there's only so much you can do, and it really comes down to who outplays who. Who has the right reads on the stacks? Can the attackers manipulate certain rotations of the defense and kind of guess in a way where like the weak side is holding for the defense? And I do wonder how this KJ versus Cypher matchup is going to come down. If that is the case. I mean, we haven't seen the agents quite yet, but I do think that that's really where the separation will be made. Is the Cypher going to be getting a lot of value going up against the Killjoy, or is like the tried and true Killjoy, just default setups going to reign supreme? I think that is the matchup that we need to highlight on this map, the battle of the Sentinel players.
We should see agent compositions here in just a moment. That will inform us on whether or not we are going to have that almost mirror comp, or if we're going to have something different. Because again, as you mentioned, the fact that they are leaning into this map could suggest a bit of an ace up their sleeves. But again, we'll see whether or not that is the case. Ascent to kick things off, and then Icebox if needed for map 2, and then Haven is the decider. I think for Ascent, a map that really does feel like a very good litmus test, right? Like a very good gut check on whether or not you're playing fundamentally sound. It's something that has been really, I would argue, over-discussed on this map, but across the community. But I think the way it boils down is this. If you are fundamentally sound, if you are strong at the things you know you need to be doing, you're going to succeed on this map. Nothing as far as compositional changes. You've got the same comps that you would expect, the KJ versus Cypher, and then a lot of it will be on whether or not you're able to create space for your Jet. I think that's something we don't talk about enough, is a Jet's life on this map can suck. Your job is to go out there and create some space. Chances are you're going to die.
Yeah. And you don't have mollies other than the KO, right? At least when you're running the Killjoy composition, you have mollies to kind of make it so the Jet doesn't have to clear out every single thing. Like when you're entering B or A site, you can use the molly for market. Towards B, you can use the KJ mollies for door towards A or even heaven, right? So it kind of allows your Jet to focus in on other things on the entry. And for the side of the Cypher, you're kind of hoping that where the Jet is showing, the Cypher's on the opposite side, able to kind of relieve some of that pressure, maybe open up the map a little bit, like destroying that KJ utility. So when you do go for the entry, it's a lot more clean. So yeah, it's definitely two stark contrasts in terms of game planning when you're running the Cypher versus the Killjoy. And each tends to have a benefit for their Jet, but it's still very hard, I feel like, on this attacking side for the Jet, no matter what, on these entries. And yeah, it tends to be the difference maker on Ascent.
Just a couple of moments away from kicking this bad boy off. Again, the stakes. You win, you make your way into the main stage. You lose, you're on the outside looking in for a little while here. Fisher Fumbler starting off on the attacking side. Spike leaning towards B, and that is where a lot of the Killjoy utility is so far.
it looks like they're setting up to just do some default utility. Maybe a Sova Dart close mid, KO knife for market, and a smoke on Cat. But what's interesting to me is the Omen and the Jet for Fisher Fumbler starting top mid. So everything they're showing right now is a heavy lean towards an A split. But this alarm bot is so deep in mid that kind of allows for Catface to have a good understanding of what's going on.
Luna's gonna have a lot to do here. The dash has been procced, the flash was not good, and now Balloon can't dash out, can't take tree. Bit of a stumbling block right at the beginning of the round, and Mary's down.
What a head-to-head duel. No Omen smokes now for the attackers.
Flash on the other side of the smoke. Icy trying to find a little bit of value and a little space on the other side of that. Meanwhile, Sin just going up a bit too far.
Giving a way back in for Fisher. There's a lot of members low, though. Icy couldn't connect, but you still have the KJ sitting in the back of B and no smokes. Again, all you have is one jet smoke to isolate one of these angles. Icy can easily get some kills here.
Well, there was one. You teed it up beautifully. But one was all it was.
30 seconds
Spike
left.
well out of reach. They're going to clear the door. There's... it's going to be a foot race. It's going to be real tight. But, I mean, maybe theoretically you can make it all the way A in 20 seconds.
Last player standing.
It's just too tough. Slicey just from the start till now just absolutely owning the round. And
10 seconds left.
although Spike can go down, it's going to take immense heroics.
Let me paint you a picture, though. Two of them are weak, and that was the other one who hadn't been. Now Dink. Autumn's so weak. But one kill is all. They will find the pistol. Goes the way of Catface.
That A main duel was just... it was everything for Catface. If that doesn't go that way, it kind of looked like you were going to get smothered on that A split. Right? I feel like Luna Fox's KO molly didn't really get much value to delay that cat rush at all. It was way too far back. Usually you see KOs, use it a little bit closer in the choke to delay the actual split. But the fact that Slicey was so proactive into A main and confident enough to take that 1v1 and winning it, it just made it that much harder for the attackers to find a way back in. Omen smokes are so important when you're trying to entry into these sites. And without them, it just makes your life just a living hell.
Yeah, it's miserable. To try to navigate that without such an important pivotal part of the plan is brutal.
Extremely slow attacking around for Fisher, just trying to get control of some of these mains. Maybe get an orb up onto the Sova, building ever closer to that Hunter's Fury. Only 4 away now. It's pretty decent for the attack so far. If they can go back and even get the A main orb, that would be more than ideal.
Yeah, I mean, in round 2? You kidding? Yeah, that's great.
You might catch a timing here, actually. Maybe not. Everybody could be main, but it's a judge. It's a judge, dog. This is... I feel like you're just going to get hit by a blender unless this dart can create enough chaos.
I think it's going to be too deep. Yeah. Sin's going to go unchecked.
Yeah.
3 kills found with the judge. The ace is stolen, but the round is secured by Catface.
Judge not being picked up, though. I wonder why. I feel like the judge is way better than the Spectre in this in this game right now, especially with how common light armors or region armors are. That judge is just even easier to get one shots. Won't matter though. It was a very clean round from Catface, surviving the eco round of Fisher. But here we are, a bonus round operator investment from the defensive side, and it's a passive setup on A, so putting doubt into the minds of the attackers. I don't think they're going to be ready for this, Doug. This is going to catch them off guard. We'll see if the connection can be there, though.
And they are headed that way. Sin will be first if they fully commit onto this. Meanwhile, the orb picked up again for Autumn, 2 pips away from the Hunter Fury now.
This is extremely aggressive into B main from Animal, and having a spot this far up allows your team to kind of heavy lean towards that A. That's why you see 3 members here. Good Fisher.
Too far up.
Eyes are down.
Kuralsu punished.
And now, surely you assume that there's going to be a speed up on the A side. That's exactly what there is.
What? That was off the dash. And now they know the opposite threat. IC 42 HP will fall as Fish crack the site wide open. The Luna Fox is going to get tagged through the wall. A weapon upgraded, though, for the rest of Catface.
There is going to be a flank, though. Look at the mini-map right now.
Yeah.
Animal was able to go all the way around. Sin needs to live right now. Can't afford to drop too early on. I say that, but it's actually Luna Fox who gets swung on in heaven, and now these players of Fish are going to be aware of the A main flank.
Oh, that's the op again down. And all of a sudden, this is getting a little messy. That dart is so good. That dart is so freaking good. A 1v1. The 1v2 goes the way of Fish.
Insane play from the KO. I mean, extremely impactful kills into the round, but also not dropping early on to the outlaw of Luna Fox in heaven, I believe it was. Who,
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
Sekia was low, right? Light armor was bought. Taking that 1v1 against an outlaw into heaven, it's kind of RNG. That easily could be you falling, and then for you to close out the round just shows that, you know, the mistakes that Catface made into that round are going to be punished by Fisher. So now Fisher, they end up winning their first gun round. They have a semi-healthy buy.
Not taking the dash into that. I like the idea, but the execution was not there. Not there at all. A flawless round to get Catface up even further.
I feel like I'm left kind of scratching my head because you want to go for a B split, and that's great because you got that KO ult off of the heroics. But where was any type of flash into market?
Yeah.
It kind of felt
lot
a
of things
little
were missing. Yep.
It felt a little too free for Sin, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely not a follow-up round you want after, you know, closing out such an impactful round, getting an operator out of the hands of Catface. So now Catface has an opportunity to string some rounds back together. 4 agents hit from that KO dagger.
They're going to pop the ult on the other side of this, too. Everyone's going to be so tagged up. I mean, yes, it's an eco, but if you can get through this, not really invest anything else, I mean, you still have 4 members who haven't taken any damage at all. You're setting yourself up financially so well, Dre.
Yeah, this is a saying we used to have back when I used to play on FaZe was, you know, when you get hit with the KO knife in A main and it hits 4, you do not continue pressing the W key. You just reset into the round. Okay, maybe take the A main space, gather the orb, but it's nearly impossible running out of that choke without having any utility.
That was a saying. Y'all had that whole speech as a saying.
Yes.
Brother,
yes.
There's no way. Every time the knife hits 4, you should know not to. That's not a saying, bro.
We were not very intelligent. Let me tell you that, Doug. We were not very intelligent, brother. We had to make it a saying. Like, we had to. Like, trust me, brother. You casted my games, you know. Anyways. Catface with that round extremely cleanly. And now it's aggression.
It's a shark attack. Oh my goodness. This feels like they understand that Fish are on the back ropes. I mean, after getting rid of the op, they get flawless, and then they call a shark attack on that situation.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous calling from Catface.
An extremely good change of pace. I mean, that was the gun round. Look at the economy of Fisher. It's just dead.
Yep.
Catching them completely off guard. And looking good while doing it, too. Oh, my gosh. I mean, yeah, you need a timeout after the way that last round went. It's slipping away. And now there's just, I mean, what has really been working for you? Pretty much nothing. I mean, you had a good A hit on your first gun round. But even that kind of felt like Catface had it in control, and they kind of just threw it away a bit, right? I mean, some whiff shots. It was a 5v3, I believe, that just didn't go their way off of heroics from the attackers. But you've gotten decimated the last couple of rounds. It feels bad, so you have to kind of settle things right now. Maybe slow the game down a bit. Start taking some more map control around mid.
I
and
do
then go
love,
into a split.
Yeah. You know, maybe playing the map, playing the macro. That might be some of the solution there.
Yeah.
I do love how Catface kind of took that possibility, took that even that variability in the equation. They took it out of their hands. Like they were the ones who drew up the shark attack in tiles. They were the ones who didn't allow Fisher Publish to dictate the pace at all. And so if you're, I mean, and there are a couple of different ways you can do B crunches, tile crunches, things of that nature.
Yep.
And so, and you're kind of forced back on the right off the bat.
Yeah, and usually teams, when they run that play, it's with check knives or something.
Right.
You just don't expect it to be just with a phantom.
Right.
You know, so it's getting caught off guard. All that of investment here.
Yeah, and for what? He'll trade it though. Hang on. The sheriff.
I guess it was for
space.
Kurosu.
I guess, yeah. Blades at the ready for the duelist. Meanwhile, a phantom, one singular phantom on the side of the attack.
A lot of utility for the defenders, though. You have that paranoia. You have 2 KO flashes to help set up Icy on the entry here.
Knife clear, confirming.
Connect on anybody B main. Yeah.
Yeah, confirming there was someone lane though. And so Autumn has to give some of that space back as Catface slowly start to push the way forward. The paranoia is clean. It is on the mark. It is perfect. You're absolutely right. Still 2 rifles in play. They have not dealt with what's happening in B main though. And Luna's gonna have to 1v2. Trying to isolate those fights. Cuts it down to 1. Time is short. Tap of the spike. The shot has to be perfect. It's got to be on the mark. And it's not enough. The thrifty round win is Fish claw their way back into that round.
Yeah, we were questioning the investment of the Hunter's Fury at first, but the paranoia was so strong, hitting both members, allowing for Kurosu to get on the scoreboard. Getting those 2 impactful kills, winning a round. All that space, and we have to shout out the breaking of the dagger from whoever was on lane. I missed who it was. But because that dagger gets broken, Catface have no idea that there's a player in B main still. And that's ultimately what was the win condition for Fisher. So, good team play, good synergy, but it's an A main walk up here. 3 members. So aggressive with the approach. You know what? It really does feel like the theme of today has been the team that holds the W key and
with
takes
utility.
the fight. Yeah, with utility and
with
takes
utility.
the fight to the opposition wins.
Yep. Who would have thought? Playing aggressive wins you games.
Yeah.
The aggression was a little bit too much there. Is Catface still in a position to kind of work their way back and op in hand in such an awkward retake position? Fisher in a really good spot here, Dre.
Yeah, it makes it even more awkward to the fact that Icy is so low.
That's the op sitting on the ground too. Catface have a lot to do on the other side of this. The paranoia is going to connect. It's going to buy some time though. Oh, TP'd on the other side of it. There's no way Balloon Cat knew that. My concern though is that time is pretty short. Luna has 5 HP. They have to go, and they have to go now. Pushing their way forward. Wait, the smoke was good, but they have to check on the other side of it. A 1v1. Slicey holding it half there. Oh, almost gets the kill. But Fish get another. Good night, man.
Yeah, these post plants from Fish are looking awesome. Keeping a player in B main multiple rounds in a row seems to be what Catface just cannot deal with. And I wonder now if there's going to be a little bit more emphasis for Catface on the retakes to really clear out that B main before anybody drops. Icy being dropped down that low allows for just one of the freest kills for Balloon Cat, right? And we talked about at the start of this game how rough it is for Jets to play on this attacking side. I mean, Balloon Cat is 1-8 right now. But 3 rounds have been won from Fisher. I think that's already a really big W, considering your Jet hasn't really been online yet.
Yeah, I agree. Great trap setup.
Fake Omen TP as well.
Spike is in an awkward spot here. Mary should be able to get across and get away. Not only has the TP, but has the ult too. Gotta be careful here, though. I mean, there's nobody there to challenge, but if you die, they're gonna try to re-hit A. Everybody's here.
Yeah, there's still KJ Molly as well. Turret still set up. 3 members here,
including the
Paranoia
op
for the defenders, though.
And now that knife just tagged 2, and it tagged both initiators.
Yeah, I think it now is when you need your Sentinel to step up to the plate. Korusu needs to come up huge here with this flank on Cat.
Second falls. Smoked off. They can't get out. They can't get out of a main, Trey.
Oh, it's done.
And now they're just face checking the smoke. Brother.
Yeah.
Player standing.
Yeah, good answer back from Catface. Off of the first blood onto Balloon Cat. Just really just playing the macro very well. We had a player just... We had a player just deep spotting in CT. Oh, some nice shots right now.
Yeah, very nice.
But there was a player just deep spotting B main from CT, and then you had a Sova and Market holding for any type of mid lurk that maybe Korusu was gonna go for. But it was really the awareness of Slicey, you know, using that paranoia to get a kill, and then, you know, holding the flank into that door smoke, catching out like pretty much the only win condition or way back in Fisher had, which was Korusu walking up Cat, right?
Yeah.
It's a good awareness from Catface.
Yeah, no, I mean, Catface played that super well. Give me a break. Their calling has been gorgeous.
Is it going to be enough, though? It kind of feels like you need the 9-3, right? When it comes to these vanilla comps?
Possibly. This is going to be a mess. 100 Fury goes up. Again? Icy falls. Sin trying to shoot through it, but it's Balloon Cat who walks out on top. And they're trying to brute force the way into the site once more. The flash is going to be really good, but no follow-up behind it. Meanwhile, ult now popped. Luna waiting on the other side as footsteps come through. Autumn.
One enemy remaining.
Thought was going to be dealt with, but lo and behold, not the case. Meanwhile, Second with the op cleans up the last. The Red Bull clutch comes through as Fish Fumblers. I don't know how they won that round.
They just went back to the same strat they ran before with the Hunter's Fury. Just go B.
And it
I
worked.
feel like Catface play a little bit too close in boat on these rounds, and just not realizing that, yo, that Hunter's Fury has a free lane, just taking out anybody there, and honestly making it a lot easier to entry into the site. You don't have to worry about those spots because the paranoia hits there, the Hunter's Fury in combo with that. So, yeah, I feel like Catface have been doing a lot of good, but Fish.
Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say Fish have been doing a good job staying into the game. What are these first bloods? This aggressiveness is insane. That was so
nothing
clean.
to lose. Yeah, it was. Kurosu testing the waters B. Doesn't like what they see. And now they rotate back A. Knife is going to tag 1, and so they should know off of that this is the lighter side of the 2. Okay.
Falling at the worst moment. Remember, that dagger landed on the animal earlier in the round.
The judge. Oh, it's a dink. Just not enough damage. Meanwhile, Luna up in heaven. Spike planted. Mary's very weak here, but still recklessly takes that fight and walks away on top.
Last player standing.
Now Fisher in a I mean, great. They've fought their way back into this half. I thought Catface were gonna run away with this.
Last round in the
It
half.
felt like it, but it was those like thrifty buys that Fisher were able to win at like the perfect moments to string momentum back in their favor and like ruin the economy of Catface. There's a really good chance right now for Fisher, bar a caster's curse, that they're able to make this a 6-6 half, which is like extremely impressive for the attacking side.
And that was also with your, as you mentioned earlier, your Jet not really providing a ton of kill value.
I mean, look at the stat line. It's not really off of, you know, heroics from anybody. It's just overall like team play and winning post plants, getting onto the site efficiently on impactful rounds. It's not something you see every day. You don't really see an Ascent attack side be successful with so many members having a negative scoreline. Usually it's like, okay, the jet is popping off and just instaing everybody on the entry. And Balloon Cat winning some 1v1s now. If you are able to secure this round win, going into that defensive side, it could be disastrous for Catface.
Fake of the door, but the heavy rotations B, and then look at the mini map. Look at Catface's setup right now.
Yes. And the Sova getting hit in A main is so important because it allows for these B main players to have what is basically a free B set. I mean, only a KJ.
Utility's going to be popped. Balloon Cat's going to do their best to create some space. Oh, but this KJ lockdown's going to be huge. They have to dive onto this before the rotations come through. They cannot wait it out. Spams connect. That's going to clean up the ult, and now the site is theirs. Meanwhile, Mary cuts off all rotations through stairs.
And remember, the B main was the bane of Catface's B retake, and it is again. So a 6-6 half for Fish after what felt like was going to be a dominant defensive side.
Yep.
Winning 5 of the last 6 rounds. An absolute massive comeback into the half for Fisher. And again, look at the score lines. Look at the score lines, Doug.
Yeah, this is
how is that? It just doesn't make sense that it's a 6-6 half if you're just looking at stats alone. That just shows that Fish are playing the macro game at a way better level than Catface.
This feels like one of the few maps where you can get away with doing something like that. And you're absolutely right. We were talking about potentially an 8-4, maybe a 9-3. But Fish are fumblers, winning 5 of the last 6 to close out the half and make a fight out of this. Now they're going to be on the defensive side. We'll see how the Cypher does. A knife already tagging a couple. Early presence found.
Double layered trips. It's not every day you see a Cypher buying no armor, no ghost, and committing to full utility. That is so annoying to play against. I mean, quite frankly, it's just cringe. Just say it how it is.
And the turret's now cleared, so that's gonna force the KJ to sit there, or else you're gonna lose contain from B main. Beautiful flash, beautiful flash.
You still have a sight trip to play off of.
There's the trip.
No punish.
Not yet. 45 HP. Corrosive feeling a lot of pressure, deals a dink in exchange, but not enough to find lethality. Now, the rest of the side is Catface's for the taking. You've got this late lurk coming in, but it might be too little too late. If they can't contain, it's all for naught. But the patient game is often the best one, and there it is. Kill found. Autumn down. It's just Balloon Cat in second now.
Oh,
it's
what
just
a shot
now. Yep. Unlucky. I mean, so much damage dealt, not enough to secure the round. But Seki is 19 HP with the time slowly slipping away. Impossible situation. Catface take the pistol again.
Yeah, I feel like Fisher kind of the hesitation and just not being on the same page was a bit of their demise. I think that Sekia did a great job on Cat, finding that timing, killing the main duelist of Catface. But the follow-up utility just wasn't there to support Kurosu, who had honestly a very good setup with double trips. Where was the player in heaven to kind of help out and support the anchor, or even like a KO molly or anything to just cause chaos, a KO flash? So Catface now really investing into this round with 4 big weapons, right? You've got a Phantom, 2 Bulldogs, a Guardian, and then you have this Jet with a Marshal that can kind of be used as a scout.
Yeah.
Like almost a human drone in a way. This Marshal is going to be one-shot kill to anybody from the defenders, and you want to lead with it. I say that as, of course, it's going to be the KO taking first, but
naturally.
Now you swap with the Phantom. Make the entry even stronger. I still think it's actually better for Jet players to use the Marshal, like I said, because you can kind of use it as like a pseudo shotgun, right? With that no scope, it's so accurate close range, which is kind of to your benefit when you're dashing into sites. But I mean, a Jet with full armor and a Phantom, you'll take that too.
There's a dash on the other side of it. Icy finds the space that they need. I mean, the guns, well, really the lack thereof on the side of Fish are just really kind of exposed here.
Now, yeah, for Fish, if you can get out some of these big, heavy-hitting weapons, that would be as good as you could do. I don't think you're winning this round by any means.
Nope.
And it looks like you're not getting rid of those weapons either, so it should be full arsenal brought into the bonus round for Catface. Yeah, 2 Bulldogs, a Guardian, a Phantom. And if you even want to upgrade, Icy can buy Luna Fox a gun, a Stinger, whatever it may be. Have a little bit extra firepower for the KO, opting to go for the Sheriff instead. But this is a very, very healthy buy for the attackers on this bonus round. It's just been a swing of momentum back and forth, Doug. It just feels like as soon as one team starts amassing a little bit of a lead or a comeback, the other one answers right back.
My concern, though, is remember what it took for Fish to make it a competitive first half.
Yeah.
I mean, if Catface managed to pull this off, which it doesn't look like. What?
Spike down mid.
Excuse me?
Hitting every single shot.
What? This Balloon Cat was like 2 and 11 at one point.
Yep.
Enemy remaining.
The heck was that?
It's just ridiculousness. I mean, this is the benefit of Jet on the defensive side. You just feel so much more free.
Yeah.
Like the engagements you take are just a lot easier. You're not having to force your way through, you know, all this set utility of a Killjoy. You're really able to just take the fights you want comfortably. You know, like you're able to hold certain angles, certain crosses. I was kind of doubting the Outlaw buy at first because, like I said, it was such a healthy buy from Catface that I felt like a lot of the members could have just been on full armor, and like that's where the Outlaw just struggles a bit.
Right.
But it works to Fisher's favor. Balloon Cat now can use that to amass a little bit of momentum to maybe start, you know, crawling back into this and popping off. If you could get back-to-back multi-kills, it's all you need as a duelist player. That gives you enough confidence to take things away.
Yeah,
Heartbroken for you as well.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I cast a curse all the time now.
Yeah, you did. I was going to say, they're also not really playing to invest in an op either. Really buying down on this.
Really interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Meanwhile, Catface just kind of crunching through Fish here. Just snapping them in half. They're breaking all over the place.
A lot of set utility in mid, just a mid default. As soon as someone breaks the dart for the plotter, it makes it kind of obvious that there's like more behind it. It's looking like it could shape up to be a flawless round right now for Catface. And just to touch back on what you were talking about with that operator not being invested, considering how clean the Outlaw was looking.
And the fact that they had the money.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, let me say that differently. They didn't have the money, but they were in a position to where they could have managed their finances so they could have had the money. Like, it was not, but they chose to buy down. And it's just, an interesting choice, especially on a map like Ascent with vanilla comps.
So, it's all left to saving this one singular rifle. You will have a buy in the next round. Balloon Cat will have maybe, I don't know, a Bucky unless someone decides to drop. But a clean round from Catface, and it was really just off of a basic mid default. You know, you have your KO. Hold on. Okay, so no gun saved over. So yeah, you have your, your basic KO knife that lands in market, clears out all of pizza and market, or at least gives you the info that someone's there. A dart close mid. Once that gets broken, I mean, you face it with multiple members with a smoke on Cat. I mean, it's just very fundamental for the attacking side. Walkout mid was punished. Balloon Cat not able to get anything going. So
you're gonna try it again.
We're trying to get it again, and this time with no dart being used. And an adjustment of some positioning, not walking out to go fight tiles. This time Balloon Cat is able to come out on top. Massive 1v1.
Yeah, you wonder if they were if there wasn't a spot top box. Okay. Dude, Balloon Cat hottest and coldest, I think, a player I've ever seen. Insane. Where does this stuff come from?
I don't know. Double face as well. Upgrade to the Vandal, but still so far away from securing a round win. This 1v1 could be a pivot back into the B site. You kind of have to concede this if you're the defense and just play your numbers advantage, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you there.
Bomb grenade out.
Or Cat swings out.
Though?
And yeah, it was ill-advised. Did not what they were looking for. Meanwhile, Catface is going to pounce on that. With claws out, they fully head towards B.
Picked apart one by one, and now Fisher are left to just rely on heroics into the way back into this round, but I don't think it's going to be there. There's no reason to overextend the way that we just saw Fisher overextend. They had the round won. This is what happens when you get a little bit too overeager, a little too overconfident. Balloon Cat, yeah, you hit some really nice entries. It looks like Fisher still want to go for this. I just
not a lot of money here.
You don't have the time
or the money, but it's a 1v1. Now Mary has to be really fast here. Beautifully played.
There was no time though. I mean, he just went for the retake way too late. But yeah, this is the problem with getting too overconfident in these matches. Yeah, you hit two really nice shots, but to run out B main alone with no B main smoke, that dart doesn't clear anything of B main. It was a lane dart, right? So yeah, it covers lane and like I guess logs and a little bit of that, maybe boat. But yeah, I mean, B main's completely left wide open, and that's an easy shot to hit. There's nowhere else a player's crosshair is gonna be. And then you try to walk off Cat to compensate, just getting picked apart one by one. Again, Catface have really just needed to rely on basic fundamentals to crawl their way back into these rounds.
Yeah, and to find themselves up 3 here.
Yeah, separating themselves from Fisher. Let's see though. A thrifty is what's going to be needed to keep this one going. Cat with those jet knives taking all that A space. Could get a lot of kills here on the flank.
A B split.
There's the first.
There's Balloon Cat getting the first that you mentioned. That's the jet too. Gonna blunt this hit a little bit more. Kurosu will fall. And they should have a lot more room to play around here. No, once again, it's blades and then it's a shorty. And both of those are now gone. And so the flank has been dealt with. They can fully turn their attention over to the rest of the map.
Peeking at the right times. This post plant, it's too strong. As soon as the flank goes down, Balloon Cat was really your only win win plan here.
Yeah,
but
yeah, you had to get a little bit more with the blades. I agree.
Yeah, but the problem is the turret was still up that whole time, and it actually shot Balloon Cat. So like, MEOW was completely aware that that flank was coming through, and yeah, like we saw Balloon Cat smoke off the turret, but it was already too late. Like that turret already made a connection.
Right.
And now you look at the ultimates that Catface have because of the way that these rounds have been going. At last time out used from Fisher Fumblers as well. This allows for some really serious repercussions. I mean, you have a Hunter's Fury, you have a Killjoy lockdown, you have jet knives of your own if you really want to like be explosive on the entry, an Omen ult to like go in with your Killjoy ult if you decide to go towards B. Like the world is your oyster right now if you're Catface to secure that 12th round win and get to match point. But for the side of Fisher, you're finally seeing an operator be invested, and if Balloon Cat is able to keep disrupting this default fundamental play that Catface is doing, maybe you could put Catface in a spot where they like invest the ults down numbers, and then like you know you get those out of their hands and be able to amass a bit of a comeback. That's like the only hope right now, in my opinion, because this feels like a very difficult spot to be in if you're Fisher Fumblers.
But they're gonna have to figure something out here. Balloon Cat will have an op into this round with light armor. And a peek across the middle of the map where it does not, I mean, maybe Annie on tiles, but doesn't seem like there's going to be a ton of challenge there.
Yeah, I don't see the IGL of Catface falling early here for this operator. I think there's going to be awareness around it, and it's just going to be a full A hit, Doug.
You're going to peek ahead of this. Tries to dash back. I saw the window. It was there, but quickly shut. And now the op is on the outside looking in.
Oh, perfect lurk timing, too. The Sentinel head-to-head, Doug, is what I was shining light at before this series started.
Nicely done. 3v2, though. Still in play. Op still in the hands of Balloon Cat. Now switching over. Sekia saves the day. That could have been bad. They're going to have to swing ahead of this, and Annie was just a little bit too far. I had to win the 1v1. And instead, the round is lost, and the lockdown's invested.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was saying, Doug. That's like one of the best case scenarios. Okay.
Yep.
You got an ult out, and you won the round. Sometimes when teams are on this attack side on Ascent, and you have control of the site, things are going your way at first, and it could just swing so quickly that a mistake like that can actually bite you in the butt later on. The operator didn't get much value in the last round, but maybe you can here, because it looks like Catface are running it down A main again. Just want to run it back. Oh, no connection.
How did that miss? Just off the mark. And, I thought that was the one that hit. That would have been insane. Meanwhile, the Hunter's Fury used. I Autumn. Split the uprights there, not finding much. Catface have somehow gotten through this barrage of weaponry and ultimates and gotten the spike down. Right in between Icy's
was found
eyes.
from Balloon Cat. Yep.
A little more to be done though. Drones traded, tagged, space given up. It's a 4v4 here, a lot on this 1v1. Kurosu's in the smoke, and I think Andy knows. Knife out, they walk right by each other, and Kurosu walks out on top. Meanwhile, 2 kills found. A 2v2 though. Luna has to take a step back. That's the win condition. That should secure it. The kills found. The round secured. Catface get to map point.
Yeah, Catface did such a good job of getting into the site with limited utility. Able to play with that Hunter's Fury to just secure the round win. And you're absolutely right. How did that not connect from Balloon Cat in such a good spot to disrupt the actual A hit? I mean, imagine that shot connects onto the Sova ultimate, or onto the Sova who had Hunter's Fury. That never happens, right? All of a sudden, you're able to just protect the president who's defusing the spike. A game of just small mistakes cascading away for Fisher Fumblers.
Yeah, this one, for as strong of a fight as they put up to close out the first half. The second half, excuse me, has left a bit to be desired.
Last time these two teams faced, it was an OT win for Catface. This time, showing massive improvements on at least this map of Ascent. A very slow approach this time.
Ooh.
And that Catface is just not ideal for your Sentinel player.
No. If Sin wasn't there, maybe there's a catch, but they're ripping him to shreds. Autumn's left in a 1v5 with a Singer. Yeah, right.
Yeah, info gathered as well from Catface. It's just, you're getting smothered right now from every angle. I'm surprised no one's jumping up heaven. Don't need to.
Almost. Where the Blades clean it up. It's a flawless round to clean out the half. 13-8 for Ascent. And we talked about this a lot heading into the map. What are they going to show? Neither team has really found a whole lot of success. If not for the second half comeback. Or excuse me, the second half of the first half. The second quarter comeback on Ascent. And this map is done a long time ago. But I think Catface looked really good, Dre.
Yeah, they looked awesome. I mean, just really relying on fundamentals, and it's kind of that what I was talking about, that veteran experience really shining through. Like we just saw it in full effect. Experience pays dividend.
1 half, 1 map down, excuse me. 1, potentially 2 to go. We'll see on the other side of this break. We'll be right back. Catface managed to take map 1 in this best of 3 that decides which of these 2 teams are arriving and advancing to the main stage. I'm Doug. With me on the call is Dre. We saw a lot of cool ideas, but ultimately, Dre, it really felt like it boiled down to the fundamentals. Which team was more sound? That was the team that was on top, and it was Catface today.
Yeah, Catface's experience was just shining right there. Also, yeah, first bloods and post plants were out of the park. I mean, looking so damn good. And honestly, just picking apart the defense and the rotations of Fisher Fumblers. And going into Icebox, that's something you kind of have to be worried about, because we saw Animal get so many good lurk timings on players leaving sites after like the main pack of Catface was showing in like on a site exec. It's something that's gonna be really tough to deal with on Icebox. It's a map where there's a lot of like cringe spots you can lurk into. You can hear a lot of rotations, whether you take like B or, you know, mid tube. Yeah, you got to be careful right now if you're Fisher Fumblers, especially because last time you played Icebox against Catface, you got absolutely rinsed.
Yeah.
At 13-6 win. And that was after that close Ascent. So,
yeah. I think there's a lot of conversation around the comps and kind of what they decide to bring out, but you're right. From a macro perspective, there is cause for concern 1,000%. Meanwhile, if you're Catface, you leaned into what your strengths were and he popped off. Consistently a problem when it came to map control and stuff like that. And as you were mentioning, and as you so well put, I imagine that will be a bit of the same on Icebox.
It's so interesting because what we saw in that Ascent defense from Catface was like not really macro winning on the defensive side. But then as soon as they went over to the attack, it was just so different. You know, it's like they were running it down on their defense, and then on attack, they were just like, okay, let's just outplay Fisher Fumblers. So I wonder if that's going to be the case here. And I feel like you kind of have to play that on the defensive side of Icebox. Now, Fisher Fumblers, look, I mean, they made that attack half of Ascent 6-6 because of the way that they were able to get on the sites and play the post plant, right? We saw how much value that B main post plant was getting. You can kind of relate that on this map to like, okay, if they go B, maybe they can have somebody yellow, you know, holding a crossfire while everybody's looking main. You know, I do wonder if there's going to be some similarities here in terms of the attacking side for Fisher Fumblers, but ultimately we will end up seeing when we actually get into the map.
If somehow Fish are able to work their way through Icebox, we will have Haven as the decider. And again, this is for main stage. These are two teams who came in 3-3, two teams who, much like was the case in the first series, have had a lot of reasons to be excited and a lot of reasons to be hopeful and optimistic about their chance of making the main stage, and a couple of reasons why they haven't been the case. And if you are Catface here, given how that first map went, given how you were able to really exploit, and given the fact that if it wasn't for a couple of those rounds in the second quarter, again, brother, we're having an entirely different conversation here. I think Catface has to feel pretty good about working their way into this map.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they are definitely the favorites on this map, especially with the fact that they've beaten Fisher Fumblers on it like a month ago, literally like almost a month ago to this day. They're 4-1 on the map. Their only loss was to FlyQuest Red, and
it's a pretty damn
honestly,
good team, by the way.
And they almost came back. Like, it wasn't like it was like one-sided. I mean, they beat Wadada on Icebox, and we've seen how good Wadada is. I mean, let's just say it how it is, right? So it's not like they're slouches to Icebox. Then you look at Fisher Fumblers. Yeah, they're 1-2 on the map, but they have had some close games. The problem is there's so much footage from the side of Fisher Fumblers because of how close those wins and losses were, that I feel like Catface has a real good opportunity here to close this out in 2-0 fashion on their map pick. We got to kind of break that cycle of, you know, making it go the distance.
Yeah, brother, we got to talk about comps. The Clove is fine, but I have okay. We know Reyna can be incredibly feast or famine, right? When Reyna is going nuts, I immediately go back to Mata as the most recent Reyna that I casted on Icebox, and how Mata was just able to take over the game. When a Reyna is on, there's very little that a team can do to stop the opposing Reyna. Again, feast or famine is the best way to describe it. My concern is that, and obviously, different map, different comp, different agent, all that good stuff. Kurosu just struggled a fair amount on the previous map, and there's a lot put into their lap right now.
I mean, not only on the previous map, but even the last time they played Icebox, going negative. I mean, I will say the first kills, first deaths are in favor, but it's just not enough on the arena. You kind of have to have that pop-off performance. You have to be the hard carry.
Yeah, that's what you... Annie, again. Kurosu on the trade, though. An important start for the Reyna. Yep, all good. Mary trades. Yeah, Mary trades right back at 3v3. The side is theirs.
No, opting to just fight.
Risky. Kurosu gets a second. Making me eat my words. That shock's gonna hurt. Gosh, that shock hurts. 3 on the round for Kurosu, though. Make that 4. All right, the Reyna pick was right. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm done.
Oh, you do know what you're talking about, because you did say the win condition, if you are running the Reyna, it's exactly what you said, feast or famine. You have to start off strong on this Reyna. You have to get in that flow state where you're not afraid to take any swings, even against an operator. You need to play this character as confident as possible. And I think that's what we just saw in this pistol round. Some really great trading, and that's why we didn't see the spike be planted and Fisher try to play in a post plant. No, let's fight. Let's use our composition to our advantage, and let's profit. And that's exactly what happened. 4 kills for the Reyna. And staying on the Sheriff, not upgrading to a Vandal. I'm very surprised about that.
If it ain't broke. Mary was a bright spot through some of the struggles that Fish were having, even when they weren't playing well. I think that's another thing that has to continue to be successful for Fish if they want a chance at map 3.
Absolutely, and especially being on that Viper role too. You want to be able to get that pit up. You also want to be that like saving grace for your team who can like clutch out rounds, because oftentimes, unlike this one, it's up to the Viper to be left alone. It's very important that you're confident in that role. But it's getting scrappy, Doug.
3v3 should not have gotten to this point. That's a 3v2 now. Weapons not upgraded. That's one dealt with. Slicey and Lunafox left to try to swing this one back. Much easier said than done.
To Fisher's benefit, the regen armor buy actually helps them out tremendously. Otherwise, these players are low, almost one-shot Sheriff range.
Oh, that's a good shout.
Look at the flank coming in. Look at Fisher's response. They're aware now that there was a late flank coming through, so still doable. Extremely
there. Yeah, that's so tough. I mean, the dart essentially secured the round there. Very nicely done by Autumn, and for as messy as it was, you're absolutely right. That was scrappy. I think that was the word you used. Fish managed to come out on top.
Wasn't pretty by any means, but
no.
For the bonus, you still bring over that Vandal and a Guardian and an Outlaw. And these weapons are very strong. You're even seeing an intentional Outlaw buy again. There's 2 Outlaws on play for the attackers right now, understanding that 3 of the members of the defense are going to be on that light armor. So these 3 members, be careful facing these attackers, and Lunafox might get punished.
That's now twice. I imagine that's going to be an adjustment as the half goes on. Sekia, what happened?
Has to be left-handed view model. There's no way. That must have been blocking that peak.
Right? Or looking at the mini map or something.
Yeah, I don't know how else you don't see that walk-in.
Crispy out from Slicey.
That's fancy footwork. A little 1-2 step, huh? A little step to the side. Anyways, you know, this round was great for Fisher Fumblers. I thought that they were going to convert it easily after those 2 kills that exchanged at A Heaven, but Catface getting proactive in B main and controlling that spike. A little bit of a blunder from Fisher Fumblers, letting that one slip away. I feel like you put yourself in such a good spot to convert the bonus round. You don't now. All of a sudden, Catface are able to get a better buy. A lot of full armor across the board now, and you know, maybe a swing of momentum.
Well, Slicey almost getting punished there. Meanwhile, a mid fight, Sekia in a good spot, but Annie's just been so freaking good, man.
What was that?
Oh boy.
Spike down B.
This feels concerning, because these are not just like everyone's winning their ones. They're winning gunfights that they should not be winning, and it's in multi-kill fashion. Catface, yeah, get to 2, and I know it's early, and it's only round 4. Hear me out on that. That feels concerning.
That does feel concerning. That player was scanned by the drone.
Yep.
So it's not like Fisher weren't aware someone's there.
Right.
Actually, quite the opposite. Like, just complete awareness. But I mean, a ridiculous display of individual skill from Icy. Just literally just pulling a full Psalm and just sitting in one spot in yellow and just hitting every single headshot. The spacing has to be better for Fisher there. There needs to be a double face or a triple face.
Balloon Cat dashing away. no longer has that ability for the rest of the half or round, excuse me. It'd be a crazy nerf.
Yeah, right.
Remember, it's just pistols for Fish here, and all 3 spotted. That's gonna give you a lot of info if you're a Catface.
Well, things are kind of just like settled right now across, and it's just a pretty slow default for the attackers. I want to talk about the power of this clove. We saw those double one-ways go up to delay that A push.
Yeah.
It's something that we saw EG do quite a bit in VCT. It's really cool to see it here in Game Changers.
Sin playing close on the other side of the wall.
Nice re-clear.
Yeah, Balloon Cat popped.
Gets a user tight smoke to delay even further.
Oh, messy there. And cleaned it immediately back up for the ace. Oh, God, that was so there. That was so there. That was intentional.
Yep. And that's why you saw the little crouch at the end. Yep. Annie just saying sorry.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. I'm so sorry, Sin. But the power of the clove, yeah, you get taken down a little bit low to some of these eco guns, you know, those sheriffs. But you're able to pop that overheal, and it gives you that speed boost too to just like really make the peak impossible to hit. I mean, those shots are so hard to connect with a sheriff. You kind of have to hit like a life flick. It's so quick. Now you have an operator online. You were totally right. The full momentum swing is in effect for Catface. We already saw on Ascent what it looks like. Now we're seeing it on Icebox.
I think a lot of it comes to this round. I think for Fish to avoid that similar fate, they've got to convert. They've got to find a way to make this work, and so far so good. Balloon Cat's going to get the opener, but the ult popped. And no real way to pursue it. You know the swing is inevitable. Nicely done by Balloon Cat.
Going for more. Oh. Where did these shots come from?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying on Ascent.
Doesn't make sense. Make it make sense.
4v2. Annie not able to work their way in. And you imagine you're saving the op here? You don't even really want to mess with that, right?
No, it's
surely
so hard to retake into this. I think Annie could go for it just because you're close to lockdown.
Sure. You don't want to lose this.
Yeah, going for a no scope too. Craziness.
What? Okay.
What is happening?
I'm not sure.
What is happening now? Do they?
But they got their one. They got their one. Yeah. And they did not pick up the op. You're absolutely right. That is okay. Not interested in leveraging that in the attacking half.
I guess it kind of makes sense. I mean, you have the Reyna Jet. You kind of have to all in. I would have liked to see an attack side operator. I feel like it's so strong on this map, and it makes the defense play so scared. Like, just the threat of having an op, like, it makes it so a lot of these players on the defensive side can't jump spot. They can't, you know, play in these obvious angles because usually the operators tend to be favored on the peak.
Hey, we were talking about that a couple of rounds ago. Catface have felt like they were comfortable pushing up and getting that orb at A main for free. The punish was inevitable.
Wow. Almost a follow-up on the Hunter's Fury as well. Look, all this B space was gathered after all that A pressure was shown. A break of this alarm bot should bait out a rotation. They're opting to just hesitate for now. Oh, Balloon Cat dropping there is rough.
Still plenty of space to play the map, though. They still haven't procced that alarm bot.
Yeah, I think now you just wait. You regroup. Wait for these A players to come all the way back up. Pop that alarm bot while you're running into the site. It needs to be explosive here. But because of that A pick, it allowed for a rotate all the way back towards B. So now there's not only KJ here with the delay molly, but
yeah,
Viper spit as well.
I'd almost rather they proc it and then rotate back A. Either way.
Huh.
The pit drawn out. And the pit immediately goes right back down. A brutal
playing in the open there.
No, yeah, not like that.
You gotta hide all the way in the back.
Second fall. Slicey gets 3, excuse me. And yeah, they invested the ult, but all good.
Yeah, I think a couple things here. First of all, that Viper wall doesn't block off top side at all. And I don't know if that's intentional, but it makes it really hard for the attackers to be confident in protecting that plant because you can get spammed from lower and top at the same time, right? Like double faced. And also, if you are going to drop the Viper's Pit there, that's the most obvious spam spot of them all.
Right.
You have to tuck behind the corner or take an extra wide step, you know, kind of behind that box, that double box on yellow. Trying to punish orb gain again, but it's a Viper's Pit that's invested this time for Slicey, who's just been on one on this defense.
Danger here. Kurosu dealt with.
Oh, that Molly.
Gonna be really freaking good. But, and now the pit's down. You've got a couple of weapons that can play around. Mary, one of them in hand. Let's Sin. I don't know. Sin is now no longer creeping forward. Flushed out behind the spit. Still lands a shot onto Mary. Overhealed into the fight again. Second puts him down. 1v2 though. No weapon upgraded. And walls closing in. Annie on one side, Luna on the other.
Oh, turret goes down. Now Annie takes the timing. Again, the experience on this roster is really showing. It's still not done, though, for Fisher Fumblers. It still can be possible if there's a little bit of a whiff. But look at the discipline of waiting for the plant.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
30 seconds left.
My only concern here is maybe you give them ones, but I mean, Catface are playing this so well that it's unlikely. Even that, even tucking there is just beautiful.
Masterful display of discipline. Let's see.
My ultimate is ready.
We've seen crazier things in our cast. Oh, but that scan should secure it.
Yep.
Awesome play from the Sentinel and the Initiator of Catface.
I mean, they played the close of that round about as textbook as possible.
Yeah, it was very high IQ Valorant being played right there. Not giving any 1v1s, taking space when needed, giving space when needed.
Yep.
And now putting themselves in a good spot to break the economy of Fisher Fumblers. You still have an operator in play for Icy. And a new change of setup. This time, Viper headed towards B. Remember, we saw that Viper's Pit used on pipes. This time, it's going to be an operator going for an aggressive pick.
Again, the same main fight. Up there. How far do you overstep? You're still committing into this?
Yeah, you take this line for sure.
You don't go past this, right? Knee and the shot. Nicely done by Icy.
Now you can kind of just give a lot of that space and play another passive offline. Wait for somebody to walk into your crosshair. That allows for a lean towards mid. Oh, Molly off the mark. But Annie knows.
Sekia on the other side of the wall. And you were absolutely right. Annie knew exactly where that player was.
It's falling apart right now for Fisher Fumblers. We're jumping through Viper one-ways after getting a pick at A. It looks like the read is right, though, to go back A site, but it's a 4v2. You imagine with the discipline that Catface had in the previous round, this should be a secured win. But we've seen Balloon Cat hit some ridiculous shots already in the back of A site.
You're going to require a lot more than just one, just two. But Balloon Cat,
I'm running low.
Has it. Had it. Didn't have it there.
Yeah.
And he cleans up the last. Catface gets to 6. And you mentioned that at the beginning of the round, the economy for Fish is not going to be good.
And you don't have a Hunter's Fury to string together something unique. Also, I mean, the sites on this map aren't as close as B main Ascent, right? So this is putting Fisher Fumblers in a very awkward position, especially because it looks like they want to invest into this. They're gonna go for a Hail Mary Killjoy ultimate play, I think, towards A site. The spike is all the way at B. And look at this B main push from Slicey. Mary might get caught out here. If that spike drops,
It's a mess. Slicey. That's 1 kill found.
Wow.
And you imagine help is coming. Slicey swinging wide into it. What? Slicey gets all 3.
1 enemy remaining.
Brother, there's no world in which Slicey should have gotten away with that.
What a flick. What an absolute mad flick. And now you're up, down, and spawn with the spike in mid. Balloon Cat. It's over. No chance at all. Slicey securing 4 into the round. What an aggressive play in B main. At the perfect timing. And that's not the first time this has worked. For Catface, Doug.
Well, but
like,
even
this B push has been a problem all game long for Fisher Fumblers.
It really has. Let's go back to just a Slicey wide swing. After getting 1, most people go, all right, we should take a step back, right? Let's contain, let's play smart. No, no, no. Let me wide swing and get 2 more. Just unreal out of Slicey.
Actually ridiculous. 7-3 half so far for the defensive side.
Oh,
and it doesn't look like they're stopping anytime soon.
Oh, boy.
Ooh, nice shot, though, from Balloon Cat.
Yeah, meanwhile, the op from IC gets 2. Prius missing kills. Unreal.
Classic.
But Autumn left in 1v4.
So fast, too. Nothing's been working for you, and I understand making the call. Go for a mid to B split. Hold on. 1v3. Autumn.
Chill. They know, brother.
Yeah, they know, but giving 1s right now.
This feels like...
They were giving 1s.
This feels like prey that's been put in a cage.
Yeah.
And they, like, toyed with it before eating it.
Yeah.
It was literally a fish getting eaten by the cat. Brother,
it was. It was.
Literally.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Unreal. Those shots from Icy were ridiculous.
Yeah,
you could just tell with these duelists in GC when they're feeling it with that operator. And look now, there's a double op setup going on. Sova and Jet. You imagine there's rifles dropped as well if you want to fall back and pick that up for the retake. Everything towards B here though for Fisher Fumblers. Oh, not the sitting in the one-way play. Surely this isn't the end. Oh!
Oh no.
No.
Oh no. We're off the rails.
We're getting silly right now.
But it's only for the cats. 3v3 though. Luna feeling a lot of the pressure. Meanwhile, Icy from on high, looking for a name to claim. Sekia gets 1, 2 still to be found, and 1's being given. Sekia's got to get 1 more to win the 1v1, to get a 4K and to get Fish to 4. At half with Icy on the other side. Op. I don't think there are any more blades in play. It's all going to be on the op shot. Tucking out from behind Yellow. Sekia waiting for the tiniest of pixels to be getting both shots wide. Blades no longer in play, and Icy saves it for Catface. A 9-3 half.
Again, toying with the prey. Icy popping off, Slicey popping off. The Clove also, Sin, having massive impact. Yeah, Catface look extremely good on Icebox. Not skipping a beat from where they left off on Ascent. A 9-3 defense is so impressive, and it's going to be so hard for Fisher Fumblers to bring this one back. There's so many smokes in play as well, Doug, against this comp. Like, you have to expose your body a lot of the times and like run through smokes, which is like, I guess, decent for the Reyna when you have a Lear. But if your economy like gets out of hand and you can't like afford like the weaponry or the Lears to do so, that's when that's when the double smoke comp like comes into effect and just makes it so hard to retake into.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Look, I mean, the buy from Korosu was no flashes, just
Ready to go kill.
misses. Yeah.
Well, okay, that's 1. And immediately put right back down. Okay. 4v4, spike was planted. Annie looking to land a shot with the Sheriff. Cannot quite yet. But Sin picks up where they could not. Luna Fox gets one with utility, and Balloon Cat's left in a 1v4.
Yeah. Balloon does get one, but I don't. This is just. Oh, wait a second.
Two. All of a sudden, you're giving the people reason to believe, and Sin instantly extinguishes all of that room for belief. Catface gets to 10.
Yeah, I mean, while we're yapping about all those fights on the actual site, there was a late flank coming through from Slicey, just finding a gap. And yeah, I just don't know. I think not buying Leers on Reyna, yeah, you got the first blood right there. I think it just makes it so difficult for this comp because you're just dry fighting through, I mean, layers of smokes. Clove was able to smoke off Snow. You have a Viper that's able to lurk through mid because of the double layered smokes that you don't have to put wall up because you have a Clove. So much threat. And
that was with a Bulldog.
Yeah, and also this was Fisher Fumblers not getting into position in the pre-round.
Yeah, you could tell they were scrambling. You're absolutely right.
You feel an elimination pressure. Just mounting onto Fisher Fumblers right now. It's just completely gotten away.
Balloon Cat finding a little bit of damage with the Guardian. Still two stingers around it as Balloon Cat gets another. Remember, Balloon Cat managed to get a couple of nice kills at the end of the previous round as well. And so there was a bit of a win condition, but Sin puts that win condition out as they did in the last. The 1v1 is cleaned up, and it did get down to a 1v1, and yeah, it probably shouldn't have gotten that close, but even then, it felt like Catface knew exactly what was in store on the other side as they get to 11.
And you just wonder now, had Fisher Fumblers been already set up and that pick doesn't come out on Mary right away because like there's two players already on top screen, is the outcome any different? Does Fisher Fumblers like have a chance to make a comeback? I mean, with the way that round went, came down to a 1v1. Who knows?
Sure.
But now that one little mistake makes it so Catface survive your force and just make it that much easier to close out their map pick of Icebox.
And I know that the situation is dire and they kind of have to do this, but they're forcing into this a little bit here. Balloon Cat has a Guardian, Perosu has an Outlaw.
Yeah, it's so hard to come back from losing that last round. You invested so much. And again, the Viper dropping early. You don't have any smokes to work with. The weaponry disadvantage just becomes even worse for you now. The Outlaw in the hands of Slicey is going to do so much work once all this B space is taken. This is a near impossible round win for Fisher Fumblers. Everyone rotated towards that A side after that pick as well. You only have one Molly to delay, and it's about to get shock darted out.
But a little bit of time. I don't know that that's going to be enough to draw the rotations, though. I mean, maybe you try to fill in behind it, but hey, you're not penning through that.
And look at that Clove. The power of the Clove. Double smokes one way on top side. Oh, wait a second. Spam kill and shock dart kill. And of course.
Yeah. Okay. 12-3. Yeah. Series point for Catface. And the prospect, the possibility, the run at the main stage, one round away. What a performance.
Yeah.
What round was it?
The problem with... Yeah.
What round was it, Dre, where we were talking about how it felt like the kills were flashy?
Defense round 6 maybe, or something like that?
Round 6? Or it was a round that they won, right? The Catface won?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that they've won around 6. And
unfortunately for Fisher Fumblers, mistakes are no longer learning opportunities.
No.
This is your ticket out of the tournament.
Yep. Annie's weak here. Kills traded back and forth as Balloon Cat gets 2. Sin is pulled Catface into a couple of ridiculous situations on a number of rounds, but wasn't able to there. Balloon Cat gets 3, Fish get to 4. And so now we'll see what more Fish can do.
No ultimates to work with. It was a B push that was successful. And already, you look at the mini-map, there's an adjustment from Catfish being made. It's called a Catfish, but apologies. Catface.
Honestly, I'm surprised we hadn't done that yet. I feel like we were due for that one.
Yeah. Yeah. The adjustment is send Icy here. Oh, you want a duel? B main? Bang. And there it is. Not caught by Prius again.
Catface in a really nice spot here. A 4v2. Now a 3v2. Kurosu and Mary left to try to win them this round, to try to keep the map alive, to try to keep the series alive, and their tournament hopes along with that.
Listen, both controllers were taken out, but remember, Glove from beyond the grave can use those smokes still. And I think
Justin Rain.
Sin died just close enough. But where's the cover?
None. Now the smoke shows up a little bit too late. Luna left in 1v2. Oh, shots going a bit off the mark. Mary gets 3. We're going to play again.
It looked like it was going to be done. It looked like Fish and Fumblers were going to be out of the count, especially after those flurry of trades in mid. But I think just, for one, just jumping the gun a little bit too early, maybe just thinking, okay, this one's in the bag. Not relying on those fundamentals. I think any other time, Catface probably wait for that clove smoke to come out top site that we saw come after Annie dies, trying to plant the spike.
Second late. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Maybe after this round, if it's lost in a bad fashion for Catface, a timeout to settle, gather your bearings, and just close this one out.
Possibly. This is a light buy for them. A Marshall, a Guardian. Oh, Kurosu cleaning up Annie. And that's a Guardian down.
And that working of the map, though, everyone walking up towards B main. Singular alarm bot here. Now, top site swing from Sekia. Oh, no, Doug.
That's really aggressive. No, they're not. They're looking the wrong way. Position given away. Oh, now they can't find a way. Numbers heavily in favor of Fish. Sin is always good for at least one.
Right? Sin has been lights out.
Yeah.
Up to Icy here, though, in a 1v4. And limited spots to peek from.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they call a timeout here, though their money's going to be back into what is reasonable. So, I mean, it might be a good time to call a timeout anyway, but what changes are you making?
I feel like it's been a clear game plan for Catfish in these last couple of rounds.
All right, that was twice. That was twice. Which one? Is it Cat or is it Fish?
Up. Catface.
Catface. Right, carry on. Catface.
So I think the game plan was clear. I mean, after kind of fumbling that 3v2, save your ultimates and then just use them all together here. I think you're going to see a flurry of ults just being used on whatever site. Maybe you save some for the post plant, but for the most part, I feel like, yeah, it was okay. We've amassed such a great lead. Let's start banking these ults. Let's not use anything too crazy like we did on Ascent. You remember that round where, the lockdown was invested in a 1v2.
Right.
Let's just use them together here. And with the timeout on top of it, it allows you extra time to come up with a game plan. There's so many layers you can do. You can drop your Killjoy ultimate, bait out Autumn Sova ult for it. Use your Sova ultimate to get on site, and then drop a Viper's Pit. I mean, really, there's just so much you can do on either side of the map. But you do imagine that once the spike gets planted, that Viper's Pit is going to come down. And you're either going to get in with the Sova ult, or you're going to have it for the post plant, making it just that much harder for the defense to retake. And for Fisher Fumblers, you have never needed to disrupt more than right now.
Yeah.
You need to try to win these rounds before.
Keep up.
Catface, sorry, but to get onto the side, I wanted to do it again. I wanted to do it again, honestly.
This is their attempt at disruption. Nice discipline out from Luna, droning out. Those little things often get lost when you know you're a round away, right? Those are the ones that those are the ones that go a little sideways. Balloon Cat doubling back in, has to take a step back.
No charges left.
Trying to save both weapons. Meanwhile, the spike planted and the pit down.
Yeah, where was? I guess you use Hunter Sphere for the retake, but it just feels like it's over.
Yeah, Luna was ready. Luna was so ready. The Hunter's Fury has to provide a lot of value here. If you're Autumn.
Where is it?
We'll see what it can connect onto. Autumn. Nothing. Literally nothing found. And that might have been their last win condition. 2 left. Second and Autumn. It's all onto Autumn now. 2 kills found still. A 1v3 to keep this thing alive. An ace demanded. And it is not delivered. Catface take down Fish 2-0 and advance to the main stage.
Very, very dominant win for Catface here. And we saw a Fisher Fumblers just get overwhelmed by the situation at hand. And get overwhelmed by the fundamentals and experience that Catface showed in this matchup. You pair that with some of the individual skill that we witnessed. Yeah, this was a phenomenal performance from Catface to secure their spot.
And again, you think about some of those rounds that, got away from them and then the subsequent rounds as a result of that. But those are little things that I think if you're Catface, those are very adjustable. You clean those up and we're having a different conversation in this series. But then more importantly, as you turn your attention over to the main stage, which is what you've just grinded through this 7-week Swiss stage to get into, those are little things that you can adjust that can be fixed, right? That can result in map wins. That can result in round wins when you need them most. We're going to throw it to a very quick break. When we return, the Verizon post-match interview, and we have the bracket for the main stage. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be right back. Catface walk away 2-0 on top over Fish and qualify for main stage. I'm Doug. With me is Dre, and you are watching the closing moments of the Swiss stage of Verizon Valorant Game Changers North America. Dre, it really felt like Catface just kind of ran away with it. And, you know, we say that a lot, but again, I want to go back to that. I don't remember what round it was. Maybe it was round 6, or maybe it was I think it might have been round 7. Because at that point, it was still pretty close. And, you know, Catface was able to come back with a pretty strong round win. They didn't win almost any rounds after that. It was insane.
Yeah, it was just dominant from Catface from that point forward. Just confidence brewing. A lot of those B pushes was just kind of the demise of Fisher Fumbler's attacking side. So many rounds where the spike was dropped because of that B push, even when the A picks were in their favor. For Fisher Fumblers. So just a lot of small mistakes, and unfortunately you don't get another chance to go back to the drawing board and make up for them, right? So big win for Catface, and cleaning things up at the perfect moment. You know, I know we say this a lot, but it really is important, like your form going in to the actual main event. So the fact that Catface are able to come out of this with a dominant 2-0 win, when every single other time they played Fisher Fumblers, it's been kind of back and forth, where even the last time they played, there's a world in which they could have gotten 2-0 themselves. I think that is massive for confidence and just also form going in.
And again, like we were talking about prior to the break, those are little things, those rounds that got away from you, small adjustments that you can make that can be all the difference in the main stage. We do have Luna Fox standing by for the Verizon post-match interview, so we'll bring them into the fold and have them join in on the conversation. Luna Fox, congratulations on the win. I gotta ask you here, Dre and I talked in the cast on Icebox about I think it was round 6 or round 7, where it felt like it was still really close, and you guys had a pretty dominant round win. It felt like you were going to run away with it after that, and you did. Do you remember that round in particular? Does that stand out in your mind?
Yeah, actually, that was Slicey. I believe she got a 3K over towards B site.
Yes.
Locked it down for us.
Yeah.
You know, just trusting in her to hold down that site and, you know, be our one true anchor on the team for that side of the map.
What did that, if I may follow up there for you there, what did that conversation even look like? Because again, that round felt like the difference maker.
I mean, that was kind of like a big turning point for us mentally. Knowing that, you know, even though we lose pistol, we lose second, you know, get it back to 3-3. We go into that round, win that, get that lead, and, you know, foot on the gas and just keep going from there. And round after round, that was our focus.
My main question for you is, you know, you've played this team twice in the past, and it's kind of been like back and forth. How does it feel now to like have a dominant win and then qualifying at the same time to the main stage? Like, is that huge for you guys?
Well, it feels amazing. The energy after the game finished, saying we finally got our 2-0 against them, you know, feeling super hyped about it. Just trying to get to the end of that and prove to ourselves that we can do that, and we can improve against these teams that we faced in the past.
I do want to ask you one last question before we let you go, so you can celebrate with your team and obviously enjoy and start to prepare for main stage. As you think about your team and sort of the journey you guys have been through for the last 7 weeks now. Yeah, 7 weeks now. Do you feel like there is, or let me ask it like this. What would you say is the biggest thing you guys have to focus on heading into main stage?
I mean, just keep going round by round, you know, like we can't get ahead of ourselves. And, you know, when we have a lead, like we did against FlyQuest last week on Icebox, you know, we let it get to us a little bit, and, you know, we started falling off from there. So just going into these next games, going into the main event, saying we can beat any of these teams. We know we can. We've shown that we can, and just got to focus round by round.
Confidence does seem to be the key in this game. I think that was something that we saw in the first series, and honestly, something that we saw in your series as well. Luna Fox, again, congratulations on the massive win. Congratulations on qualifying for the main stage. It's been a ton of fun to watch, and I can't wait to see what the rest of this tournament holds for you guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys.
Bye.
All right, friends, we have one last gift in store for you guys. I believe the wise, smart people who are actually the talented ones who are running the show behind the scenes, it's not us. They are telling me that they do have the bracket for the main stage ready for us. So we're going to take a very quick look at that. And there it is. And oh my goodness, it's Shopify against Catface to kick things off. Dre, any thoughts off the bat? And then also Ghost and Wadada.
Yeah, I mean, listen, yeah, Ghost having to play Wadada and then Catface having to play SRG. I mean, honestly, at this point of a tournament, every game is going to be a banger. It's all going to be stacked. It's going to be extremely tough. I think that the way that Ghost and Catface won today is really good going into matchups like this because it gives you the confidence that, okay, we deserve to be here. We won clearly, like it was clean. And these these titans of GC don't have all the footage in the world now to like kind of ante us because, you know, a team like Shopify, Wadada, even FlyQuest, these are teams that have so much history with their cores that honestly, it's gotten to a point, at least for Shopify, where they can really choose to just anti-teams. So I think it's really important that you didn't showcase your entire hand and you have a little bit more time to kind of clean up, like you were talking about, Doug, on some of those mistakes that you made. Give yourself the best type of chance into, you know, having an upset. Let's just say it how it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it well at the very beginning. Having those wins like that, as confident as they are, kind of allows you to play kind of names off, if you will, and that you're not really worried about who the team you're playing against is. Luna Fox talked about it in the interview a couple of times. You're just round by round, right? Like you're just focused on what you're doing, focus on winning round after round, and that's ultimately what results in wins. So there's the bracket, friends. The main event kicks off Friday, May 23rd at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time. You are not going to want to miss it. For those of you who've been watching at home for the last 7 weeks, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a lot of fun. I know I've enjoyed every single round we've seen. There have been a ton of highlights, this, that, and the other, and a couple of cool stories that have been birthed, and hopefully their stories will continue late into the main event. Again, from everyone behind the scenes who's put together this show, to the casters, the talent, the players, the fans, everyone, thank you so much. This has been a blast. We'll see you guys again May 23rd, 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time for the kickoff of the main event. Until next time, have a good night.